Welcome back to the TriFecta Airsoft podcast. I'm E-Rock, your host. Thanks for being here. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already so you never miss another podcast. I want to tell you about the next giveaway we're doing. It is Friday, August 12th. If you would like to join that giveaway, join our Patreon or purchase a ticket through our website, TriFectaAirsoft.com, and you will be entered into that giveaway. And what is the winner getting? The Echo 1 PSR sniper with a scope, a 3x9 scope on it, a scope cam, also an action cam with a case and accessories, a 5,000 count bottle of BBs, and a bunch of swag. Join before August 12th. Join our Patreon or get a ticket and you will be entered. Thanks for being here. Let's get into the podcast.
Hello?
Yo!
Oh, it works. Okay, cool. This is my first time ever doing this. I tried it a bunch of other times. Can you see me?
Not yet.
Okay, wait. I see camera button. There's a
There
camera
you
button.
go.
No? Okay. I don't do this like ever or often, so I have no idea how most of it goes ahead and works. So it's
Hey,
always interesting.
you did it. You passed the test.
Hey, I've had a Discord for 6 months, and I tried using it the other day and gave up. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna mute the messages and call it good.
I know I think I'm on like I don't know, 10 different Discord servers. As I talk to people, yeah, I didn't plan on it. I just when I started these podcasts,
Yeah,
I'll talk to people and then they're like, "Oh, I have a Discord too." I'm like, "Okay, I'll join it, whatever." So now I'm getting like or at the time I would get all these
yeah,
notifications and I'm like, "Shit, I didn't know how to, turn them off." So I told one of the guys that joined ours for the podcast, like you did. I said, man, if you want to, like exit the Discord after the podcast, that's fine because we always get those notifications. He's like,
yeah,
no, you just mute them. I said, how do you do that? So I had, I didn't even
yeah,
know.
yeah. Okay, yeah. Because me, I'm like, okay, I'll just go ahead and like hold it down, either mute it, and be like, in case someone ever needs to go ahead and hit me up instead of giving out like my number, because people are like, hey, here's my number, call me. I'm like, I don't know you. Discord? Oh my, or you can send me video message or like voice messages on Instagram. So a lot of the times when I'm like airbrushing or something like that, I'll be sending voice messages and people might hear like my compressor going off in the background, refilling with air or something like that. So I'll talk to them. You hear like, I'm like, crap, my bad. And then I might have to resend it, or I forget that my text notification is
Yeah.
Arnold. So when I'm
Oh
sending a
shit.
message to somebody, yeah, you hear like, "Ah!" I'm like, oh crap, my hey, I'm so sorry. So I have to like either delete it, or people will be like, what was that? I'm like, it was Arnold. Why? I'm like, get your attention, doesn't it?
No shit. Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny.
All right.
Oh, so you got the earbuds in? Okay. So I think
Yeah, got him in.
what you can do, you're on your phone. I can't remember how to do it on your phone, but
Okay.
if you click on the screen, because
Okay.
I think the sound is coming through your
Yeah,
phone,
I know what it
maybe.
is. It's fan. It's my fans. Give me a second. I live in
Oh
Arizona and
no,
it
no, no!
sucks
You
over
don't have any
here.
background noise. You're good.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no
Okay.
background noise.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
it just sounded like I could hear myself a little bit once in a while, but not
Here, let me check
much.
my audio. Yeah, because you're directly through my headphones.
Oh, good. That's perfect then. You're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you're good to go. A lot of
Okay.
times, yeah, when I first start these, it takes a good minute for, I don't know if
Hmm.
it's Discord or people's connection or my connection, I don't know, but sometimes it
Yeah.
takes a good minute for it to kind of, I don't know, settle in maybe.
Yeah.
So,
Like sometimes the audio things like that. No, I get that 100%.
yeah, dude. I know just enough to get this shit to work and record it. And then
Yeah.
the other stuff, like when I clean up the audio, like I've
Uh
talked
huh.
with people and I'm like, they're like, yeah, I only listen, I don't really watch the
Yeah.
podcasts. I just listen to them on Spotify or iTunes or whatever,
Mhm.
whatever they use. And because I strip the audio and put it on all those. And
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, the audio sounds really good. I'm like, yeah, I clean it up. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I don't clean it up. I pay for, through the service I
Yeah.
upload it to, it automatically, you pay an extra thing and it automatically cleans it up, like
Okay.
levels, auto levels and shit like
Oh, that's
that.
awesome.
So, so I'm like,
That's incredible.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I don't know about any of that stuff. The most, like, even now, it's one of those things where I'm so busy now with like painting stuff
I'm sure.
that I needed to go ahead and get an audio, or sorry, not an audio person, like a person to control my Instagram.
Oh
So a
yeah,
lot of the times, if like I'm messaging people, things like that, I'm like, okay, cool, it's usually me. But when it comes to posts or things like that, my stories for the most part, it's all Alexis or Spooky.
oh
She's
shit,
absolutely phenomenal. I'm the one who went ahead and I painted her mask for her. And so like we are working out ideas, we're like chopping up stuff, and she's like, "What about this?" What am I? I'm like, "I don't like that." And then we found a design. She found a design. We loved it. And I had to clean up a lot of it, butcher up a bunch of stuff. I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna look, and I think it's gonna look like shit. We'll see how it lays down.
yeah,
Because the worst part about what I have to do is with dye i5 masks, they have so many vent holes in the front for ventilation.
yeah,
People are like, "Oh my god, I want like Ghost's skull," and I'm like, "Okay, oh, I want a Medusa." I'm like, "Okay, here's the thing." I'm like, "There's vent holes." I didn't think about that. I'm like, "I know, I do. I'm paid to do this, so here, this is why." And so
yeah,
even though I'm limited, I try to capitalize the most I possibly can. That's why a lot of people are like, "Why do you only release sharp teeth?" I'm like, "Because they go with the vent holes." I'm like, "Trust me, if I could do all sorts of stuff, I'd be all over it." But I'm so like limited on what I can go ahead and do. And
right.
then I've been having to teach myself how to like edit stencils and download files. And one of my buddies, when I started this thing up, he's kind of been kind of the foundation, because I've always been really smart with how to like lay down my foundation, who my contacts are, who I never want to lose like a relationship with, things like that. So if I can go ahead and go and like build relationships with a lot of people, I will. But as I went ahead and I heard once before, is like you don't want to have a big group of people. If you're going to have a solid 5, 10 people, you will
Hmm.
be solid, you'll be set. And so I've always been trying to look out for my 5 or 10. And so it's been really cool to kind of see where I've come from to
Right.
where I'm at now. And I'm just like, it's crazy.
You went bananas, bro. You blew up.
It's it's been a journey. I remember back in I started this thing up back in November of 2020, and I was trying to hit up people. I was just taking shots in the dark, like, "Hey, let me go ahead and do something for you. Hey,
Yeah.
let me do something for you." And just sending off messages to big people. I hit up like SYG Sapo. I hit up like quite a few other different influencers, things like that, or people I saw. I even tried to shooting a message over to Demo, but they're so big. I can
Hmm.
only imagine you don't go ahead and check your DMs after a while. Me, I
Right.
have to go ahead and no matter what check them, because that's kind of what business comes in through. But for the most part, I was shooting out these messages, and I remember it really well. It's really weird how my memory works. I remember very good stuff when it comes to doing math and all this other stuff from high school. I know my basics, but I got a calculator. We're good. But I remember people from like my day one, and I remember. Are you familiar with Hop Up?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so I remember going on Hop Up, and I posted my services to try to paint. So I'm like, "Oh my god, now that I have Hop Up, I can do this." There was so much fraud going on at the time with Hop Up that any goods and services, so teching, any sort of like painting, things like that, where people would go ahead and make like businesses off of it. Like I remember Bloomy's Airsoft. I went ahead and I had him build a gun for me once from there because he was a tech. I'm like, okay, cool, I can paint. And I saw other people having stuff up for painting, but they're slowly scrubbing the whole entire thing to offer no tech work, no paint work, nothing like that, because there's so many frauds where people would send someone like who they don't know their gun to be painted, and next thing they take their stuff. So I'm
And they
over here
never get
like
it back.
begging people.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm over here begging people like, "Please let me paint your stuff." And no one was taking a shot. No one was taking a shot. And I remember the first guy I actually got, his name's Isaac Villafranca, or Villa Airsoft. He hit me up and said, "Hey, I like what you going ahead and you're doing," because all I had was my guns painted at the time to showcase what I can do. That was it. And he's like, "I like what you're doing. Could you go ahead and do a Louis Vuitton print?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can," even though I'm totally talking out my ass. I don't know how to do a Louis. And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna have to go ahead and learn how to cut these things out of like paper or tape and lay them down." He's like, "Yeah, I want that, but I also want for the culture," which was like a saying that Demo would say, really big in the Speed QB community. And
Gotcha.
I'm like, shit. I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, 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 I got you, yeah. And I'm like, Okay, here we go. First commission. I'm like sweating bullets and everything. And this was
Yeah.
December. He had mag sent to me. He had his whole entire gun, which was an umbrella, or he doesn't have his whole entire umbrella armor's gun sent to me, but it void the warranty, so he only sent me the suppressor, the stock. But then he also sent me his mask. I'm like,
Oh
okay. I'm like, well, let's see how
shit.
this goes. And I'm like, and so I started like trying to figure out stuff, and I went on to Etsy for some reason, and I'm like Louis Vuitton stencils, and I found a guy named Midwest Firearm Solutions, and I'm like, and he was selling his stencils. I'm like, oh my god, because before when I had first ever started this back up, it was like 2014, and then I said F this, and it was back when I lived in Oregon, and
Yeah.
I had zero like ability to gain traction. Instagram wasn't what it is now versus back
Right.
then. No one knew about hashtags or anything like that when I
Yeah.
started this back up. Yeah, when I started this back up, I had 98 followers,
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, cool. I'm trying to make people trust me when I have zero traction. So I'm begging people, haggling prices. I remember when I did it for Villa, I think for his mask, like 3 mags and like a couple other different things. I think he paid, I think about like $120 for all of it. I was begging him because I
Holy
needed to build up my
shit.
portfolio.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, all right, I'm figuring my stuff out. And then back in 2014, I didn't have nobody. I had my local field back in Southern Oregon that I'm begging people who are all mill simmers who want to rattle cane their own shit and do it like the old military way. So
Oh
I'm like, yo,
shit.
let me paint it. I got you. And it was hard. I gave up on it, started it back up in 2020. And before my old contacts, I was going off of all the old stuff. The old guy I had gotten my stencils through was in Russia.
Oh shit.
I shit you not. He was in Russia. And so I'm hitting him back up. I'm like, hey, yo, do you still remember me? He had to create a new airsoft page because his old one got hacked, and there was like models
Oh my
half nude over
god.
here. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, oh yeah, the guy went to another page. I'm like, oh okay, but he's sending it in Russian, so I'm having to like translate some of it. I'm like,
Mm.
okay, cool. So I went to the other page, found the dude's website. He got really legit, and I was waiting. I actually forgot I had bought those stencils. They showed up like 5 months later with like 20 something postage stamps all over it and everything like that.
Holy
It was
shit.
like through a journey. And I'm just like, what is this thing? And it was like Russia, like all over my, what the? I'm like, these are my stencils. But this was already after the fact that I had to go outsource my stencils somewhere else.
Oh
And
shit.
so with Midwest Firearms, I'm like, hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do this? And I'm challenging him to do stuff that he doesn't offer. Next, you know, we're talking on the phone. He was pretty much my foundation. Between him setting me up with success between stencils and then Villa doing like a lot of marketing. Like once I went ahead and sent out my stuff to Villa, he saw something in me that I didn't even see. He's like, dude, I need to go ahead and get you on with other people. Let me work my magic. He started harassing TikTok. I'm like, what's TikTok?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he's like, watch. He started harassing people like, hey, like, check this out, check this out. And Swavy Streams, he was the very first TikToker that I got. Over 230,000 followers is what he had.
Holy
And
shit.
yeah, and he taught me the way of how to go ahead and work TikTok. And I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, this is what you want to do. This is, and what he was doing, he was like grooming me for TikTok. And in return, I would go ahead and give him free shit. So I
Nice.
was, yeah, and then I was also at the same time always hunting for EPM mags um, on on Hop Up to go ahead and buy them in bulk, like used
Yeah.
ones, and refurbish them, stretch the springs, buy what I needed to go ahead and update them, so then I can go ahead and sell them and have them as product.
Oh
So I'd go
shit.
ahead and yeah, I remember I was out here trying to do I was doing stuff for him, and he's like, yeah, I want MCM. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. He's like, MCM's like clothing. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And I'm
Hold
hitting up
on one
Midwest. I'm
second.
like,
Let me
can
look it
you?
up.
Yeah, I'm over here hitting up Midwest. I'm like, can you do MCM? He's like, I got you. I'm like, all right, cool. So he's over here sending it. But the worst part was I'm literally the middleman where I'm stuck where I have to wait for stencils from him. And then I'm over here patiently waiting for them. I don't know how they're going to work. And I'm taking a guess, sending him like screenshots and pictures of like, this is the dimensions. Hopefully it works. And it's either it doesn't work or if it does work, cool, we're in business. And it was a lot of traction. And the worst part was I lived in Colorado at the time and he was in Nebraska. We were like neighbors, kind
Yeah.
of. But then when snow hits,
Yep.
it was so inconsistent when it goes ahead and comes to like packages getting to me. So like,
Mm-hmm.
when are the stencils here? They should have been there yesterday. 3 weeks go by, the stencils finally show up, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm behind. And so I'd like run into issues like that, and then slowly gaining traction with Swavy and him promoting my stuff and reacting to stuff and showing me how reactions work, what to go ahead and do. He ended up getting me on with Seth Softer, who's Eon. The guy almost had at the time he had like 900,000 followers,
Jesus.
and he's like, hey, I want you to go ahead and do Cherry Blossom. I'm like, yeah, that's easy. Never have done Cherry Blossom in my life. Poker face. I'm like, yeah,
Yep. I got you,
that's
bro.
easy. I got you, man. Yeah, don't even worry. And I'm like shitting bricks because he
Oh my
wants them on high
God.
cap. He wants them on high kappa mags, not plastic EPM mags. He wants them on bare metal high
Yeah.
kappa mags. That's going to be going into an airsoft masterpiece grip that's metal. So
Oh,
it's
shit.
metal on metal, and I'm like, oh, I
Oh
don't know
my
how these are going to
God.
hold up. And so I'm like, you know what?
Scratch,
I'm to go ahead and
scratch.
oh yeah. And I'm just like, last thing I want is for him to go ahead and chip it off. It
Yep.
gets stuck inside of this nice custom high kappa that LA Kappa built for him, and for it to go ahead and be just destroyed or something. So I'm like, please, I hope it works. And then I'm over here talking to my buddy Midwest. I'm like, hey, can we like in this work? He's like, I have to go ahead and design these up. I'm like, cool. Let me know the price and everything like that. So not only was he benefiting because he was over here having to create stencils that he didn't have before, so then he can
Yeah.
offer to his clients, but then at the same exact time, I'm benefiting because then I'm stockpiling up my stencils and everything like that. And at this time, I'm in a corner of my garage trying to airbrush all this stuff. And it's the worst thing because I am pretty much vulnerable to any weather that's outside. And I remember
Oh shit.
once it got so bad that when I was over here trying to airbrush, it was frosting over because it's -5 outside.
Oh my
And
God.
I have a heater, like a leg heater on my legs. I'm in like sweater, sweats, and everything like that. And I'm using my heat gun to heat up my body to where my body temperature
Holy
dropped so low. I
shit.
started shaking uncontrollably. And I'm inside, and my wife's trying to heat me up. And I'm just like, oh, I'm like, I have to get back to work. She's like, no, stop. Like, isn't that? It finally cooled down. I'm like, okay, we're good. So I go back outside and paint later on that night. And I'm like,
Oh
and she's
my
like, what's
God.
wrong with you? I'm like, I have to go ahead and get this stuff done.
Yeah.
And during this time, I was on like vacation from Safe Flight Auto Glass because that's like my normal day-to-day job.
Yeah.
And so I've been able to go ahead and I've been blessed to have like these vacation times where I'd be off for like 2-3 months, go back to work for like, a good solid 9 months, take 2-3 months off again.
Oh
And
shit.
so in these times when I'd go back to work, I'd have to go ahead and either shut my business down or I'd have to slow it down to where it was almost
Mm-hmm.
like a dam where there's so much buildup of work, but
Right.
I could only funnel this much. And so I'd run into this issue constantly to where when I ended up moving out here to Arizona, because I got on this special team for safe flight called the Road Warriors, which is like the top 50 glass technicians in the United States can only go ahead and be on this team. So I'm like,
Oh shit.
and they invited me to be on it. So I'm like, sure, I'll travel to the States. I don't give a shit. And they're
Yeah.
sending me out to go deal with like hailstorms. I'm going to like New Mexico,
Oh wow.
Utah, South Dakota. Yeah, all over the States to go ahead and go help with all these people. I came out here and I stood in a hotel for 5 weeks. They had no idea about what's going on with COVID or the toilet paper pandemic or anything like that. And I'm just carelessly using
Fucking
amounts of
toilet
it in my
paper, bro.
hotel. Dude, I had no idea how bad. I didn't know how much of a bubble I was in or
Yeah.
how bad Arizona is when it comes to caring about COVID. So when I'm like, okay, cool, like 5 weeks is up, I end up driving back 14 hours to Colorado. When I get over there, everybody's wearing masks and like looking at me all weird. I'm like, okay, I'm putting it up. And like at the time, I was over here looking for an Xbox controller because I wanted to go ahead and like buy myself a new one and everything. I'm like, yeah, I get to go ahead and get like the new one, $200. Like I don't even care. I want it. I deserve
Yeah.
it. I come back. You can't find it anywhere because there was no longer than being produced or shipped over here because there was like a worldwide shutdown.
Yeah.
I didn't know about this stuff, and
Oh
the
shit.
people, the people at Walmart are over here telling me like, "Oh yeah, go yeah." Like if you want to see something funny, because I'm telling them how this is all new to me. They're like, "If you want to see something funny, we're about to bring out toilet paper on aisle so and so. Go over
Oh.
there." I'm like, "What?"
Oh
And
my God.
they're like, "No, no, no. Like if you want to get a true joy, go over there. There's already a line waiting." And I'm like,
Oh.
"Okay." So I start walking down, and I'm seeing this group of people. There's no line. There's a group of people, and then there's like they're all standing around the back doors, and I'm like, okay, so I go ahead and I stand off to the side, and I'm just watching this. They're all different age ranges, all different people, and I'm just watching. And then you see like an army of blue kind of coming out. You see them through the little glasses going into the back doors, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then you just see them like back up, like escorting the shit out. I'm like, yo, is this like the CEO of like Walmart
Holy
coming out?
shit!
Like,
Right?
dude, it was the wildest thing. And then they're pulling out 2 pallet jacks full of toilet paper, and I'm
Oh
like,
my god!
and I'm watching this like National Geographic. I'm just seeing this shit. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be really interesting. They go ahead and they put down the pallet jacks, and they're like, let us go ahead and pull the pallet jacks away, stand back, and they're holding people back as they're pulling them back. Pallet jacks clear the space. And they're like, okay, go for it. And the people like go from standing like this, they turn sideways, and everybody is rushing and grabbing toilet paper. And I'm like, what the
Jesus!
fuck? I'm like, it looked like Black Friday. And I'm like,
Yeah. What
I'm like,
the
oh my god! So
hell?
you see these youngsters. And the funny part is, the older people are the smart ones. The reason why I say this is because you'd see the youngster grabbing toilet paper, putting it in their cart. The old person standing around the corner grabs their toilet paper, puts it in their cart when they turn their back, and
Yeah.
just walks off. And I'm like,
Oh shit!
no way. I'm like, okay, this is wild. I was a wildland firefighter before I went ahead and
Oh,
I
okay.
did any of the safe light stuff or anything like that, or before any of the airbrushing stuff. And so I'm over here like, if I don't have toilet paper, I'm gonna wipe my hand with some pine leaves or something like that outside because I've been taught how to do that. I'm
Right?
like, or you're gonna go ahead and use a sock and say goodbye. Like,
Right.
yeah. So that's why I'm like, you do understand we have access to like water. It's gonna be disgusting, but you have like a duvet. You can
I
just,
mean, right.
yeah. So that's why I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, I get back home. My wife's like, I was shopping. I'm like, went to 5 different stores, couldn't find my damn controller, but I got to see the toilet paper thing. She's like, oh yeah, it's so much fun, right? I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, we get our stuff from Costco. I'm
Oh
like, oh
shit.
yeah. So it's been so strange, especially when I started this back up. It was like pandemic time.
Yeah.
And so it was hard for me to go ahead and do it. And I was trying to like do things and like, no, don't worry, they're clean, they're disinfected. Like after I'd clear coat stuff, I'd
Oh
even
yeah.
disinfect them. And I'd send
Yeah.
a video of me disinfecting it and I'd put it in the box.
Gotcha.
That's that's how crazy some of the stuff was.
Yeah.
And then kind of fast forward from there and establishing like smart connections, like Little Miss Airsoft, for instance. She was the person who told me, hey, this is where you get your patches from. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, patches Fahad. I'm like, okay, cool. I am now one of the longest people that Fahad now knows and has done business with. And I've kept them, even though my DMs are filled with people like, hey, use my patches, use my patches. The number one thing you can't go ahead and account for is loyalty. And you can't go ahead and really find good quality at loyalty costs. Like I can go with someone else and burn the bridge with this person, but
Yeah.
ultimately then am I going to go ahead and look bad? And that was
Mm.
like my number one thing. I try to always stay neutral. I try to always not get into confrontations, even though I'm like, I don't like you,
Yeah.
but I'll paint your thing. But I have like my own moral stuff. Like I'm not going to go ahead and do something where like it's going to be something violent, or like I had a
Yeah.
dude try to have me do like lean and pills on a gun and everything. I'm like, nah, sorry, dude. I
What
don't
is it now?
support that. Like it's called lean, and it's like where people put like cough syrup and Sprite, I think, and then like pills.
Oh,
Yeah. So that's what
new to
rappers, like
me.
some rapper. Yeah, that's what some like rappers and everything do, like these new age ones.
Oh,
Some
okay.
people do that, so that's how they get their highs or how they get
Oh,
drunk and tipsy. I'm
gotcha.
like, okay, I'm like that.
Yeah, I
No, I'm
never
not
heard
gonna
of it,
do that.
dude.
Yeah, that's how I'm like, no. I had to do my research before I denied them and didn't look like incompetent. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm like, I'm trying to be not be sound old. And I'm
Yeah.
trying to be like hip-ish. Like
Yeah.
I caught myself saying bruh to my wife the other day. She's like, what'd you say? I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm in like Instagram mode. I am so sorry, man. Like,
Oh
okay,
shit.
bruh. I'm so sorry. So it's always like interesting to kind of see where everything has kind of gone and how I've had to like adapt to different people.
Right.
Or like at one point in time, my Instagram wasn't working and it didn't give me no notification for requests. And
Huh.
usually after I make a new post or a new drop of a new mask or new design, whatever it may be, my DMs will blow up and like, hey, how much is that? I'm like, okay,
Right.
cool. So usually I'll have like a generic message already like made, and I send it over to my personal profile. I'll just
Gotcha.
copy and paste it to all these people. Like,
Yeah.
these are my mask prices right here, and I'll go ahead and like, hey there. They'll just go ahead and be an automated like message, and either they'll go ahead and leave it on red, or they'll be like, "How much for this and this?" I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like, let's go ahead and talk numbers then." Like, I've
Yeah.
had some weird requests, like where some dude, I'm so happy he didn't hit me back up. He wanted to do an M60 with a Galaxy on it with Dino Chicken Nuggets floating through it. Yeah, and I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
my most expensive gun price is $200.
Yeah.
Okay, and I told him like, yeah, I can do two. Oh, that's totally reasonable. Yeah, the other guy wanted 600. I'm like, tips are always welcome. I'm down with some tips. He's like, oh no, we can stick to the 200. I'm like,
Oh shit.
but he never hit me back up. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
see how like I never like I thought of a different gun, even though I know what an M60 is. My mind just didn't click. I'm like, okay, cool. It's gonna just be a nice little AR. I'm like, I saw how massive this thing is. I'm like, oh fuck me. I'm like, that's gonna be so much paint to go ahead and put down.
Uh-huh.
It can get so bad so fast sometimes, but it's just been one of those where like my prices are always changing. Like I have different generations of things and different generations where I'm trying to go ahead and always improve. So now I'm on to, for instance, like my masks, I'm on to my Gen 4s. And
Okay.
my Gen 1s, it was like my when I did with Villa, because I did his mask. And
Yeah.
I was like me, like, let's see how this holds up, sort of a deal. Okay, cool. And I'm like, okay, no, like there's like wear and tear right here. I'm like, okay, how can I go ahead and mitigate that? Like maybe if I do this. Now there's my Gen 2, here's my Gen 3. And I think when it came down to it, I have a Gen 2 mask out there, and it's his name is Zuka the Demon. And he hit me up and I had it to him like mid January of this year.
Yeah.
And he plays speed QB matches all the
Okay.
time in it. So you count a speed QB match if they're going for like 3 times. There's a good chance he's playing 3 matches in that one spot, and he's playing X amount of matches in a day. It's
Yeah.
gonna go ahead. That thing's gonna see a lot of wear and tear. So I'm like, oh, I hope this thing holds up. He's played well over 200 matches with the mask, and I actually got to see it in person at the SS anniversary event.
Oh shit.
And I got to meet him. I was like, dude, oh my god! And people are like wanting me to sign stuff and take pictures. I'm like, dude, I am an introvert. I'm like, I'll go ahead and be a social butterfly. I hate taking pictures. I hate being on video. I hate being on camera. I'm like, if I could go ahead and have somebody disguise them as Rogue, I would 100% do that. And then they can go ahead and take all the credit. I will just be back here, the madman behind the scenes.
Well,
You
you could have
know,
worn your mask. You could have worn one of your favorite masks that you painted. Because I've
dude,
had people on here
don't.
that wear all their getup. You know.
Oh, dude, it's one of those where I don't even have my own mask anymore because I've been so busy with painting so many different things so many times and different
Yeah.
things and everything. So I'm like, okay, and plus everybody kind of knows what I look like from all my giveaways just because my
Right.
number one thing I always try to do is I try to show love to the community. That's my number
Sure.
one thing I try to do. And I look at other big companies, I look at, stores and I see what they do for giveaways. I'm super happy, but they're giving away a couple mags or an Odin or this and that. And I'm like, man, I want to do something like people don't go ahead and see. So I'm
Yeah.
like, even though it's going to be coming out of my pocket, F it. And this was before I got my LSC, before things were a write off. So things were literally coming out of my pocket.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, and this is before I got to deal with PTS and everything to get a discount. So I'm over here having to pay like 25 or whatever dollars an actual like EPM mag and things like that. So I'm having to paint stuff, and you can't account for the hours of the paint or like the stuff that I go in and I put into it.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, you know what? It's for the community. I want to go ahead and gain traction. And I remember I had one at I think like 1K, something like that, or 2K.
Yeah.
No, I think I had one at 1K, 2K, and then I was supposed to have a 4K one, but I got so busy with everything I was doing, and I wanted to introduce something that no one else has ever done, which are golden patch tickets. And with the golden patch tickets, I went ahead, I made sure I peeled one off my wall,
Yeah.
but this is what it is.
Oh shit.
And I went
Nice.
ahead and I wanted to do these golden patch tickets to where it's going to cost X amount of money. These ones were $30 a patch or two for 50, and I capped you out at two for 50. But there was only 22 spots available. With that being said, though, the prizes you could win versus the public giveaway are huge. At least 15 out of the 22 won something. So those odds are
Damn.
absolutely incredible. But some people who are doubling down, and I think realistically, I think I had 15 items and I think maybe 14 people in there. Yeah, so I'm like, Okay, cool. Everybody pretty much got something, and that was the
Right.
best part. I did a one of one dye mask in there with a holographic finish, and my poor mother in law, because she lives here with us.
Yeah.
When it's something that's gonna be very time consuming, and I'm like, this is gonna take me way too many hours. I can only work on these 5 masks. She was like, "Oh yeah, I'm down to do it." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "I'm so sorry. Here you go. This is the design." And we cut out these little tiny hexagons, little tiny hexagons. I think they're like quarter inch by quarter inch, and we covered a whole CM16 with it.
Oh my God.
I felt so bad.
That's some time, bro.
Oh, she spent good solid 6 to 8 hours just like, and then I never knew how like anal she was about making sure everything was aligned
Yeah.
until I gave her the mask, because it was not only on the CM16, I did it to the mask also.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, "I'm so sorry, but it's me this and this." And then I wanted her to write a nice little message on the box. I'm
Yeah.
like, "I want you to write something nice because this is you. I want you to get like the credit that you rightfully deserve and everything like that." Because for me, giving credit to the right people, I think, is like the biggest thing you can go ahead and possibly do.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to take advantage of anybody or to make them feel some sort of way. I always try to show my love to the community. So
Right.
when we did the 5K giveaway, even though it was supposed, I do like 4K/5K giveaway, because a lot of the people that were in there, especially the Golden Patch chat, all knew it was supposed to be for 4K. But I started blowing up and gaining so much traction. I'm like, fuck! I started this plan at 3,000 followers, and next you know, I blink and I'm at 4,000. I'm like, shit! I'm like, okay, might be a month delay. It's gonna be worth it. Trust me. And so I'm over here messaging. I remember messaging Slaughter. I'm like, hey, bro, like, I know we've chatted a lot before. Is there any way I could possibly ask you for the files for the Slaughter? I'm going to put them on these Odins. I want to make these things badass one of one Odins. I have visions of what I want to do. I know you're about to your demonic shit, so let's make something happen. Yeah, man, sounds good. And he sends it right over to me. I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay, I have like
Oh,
some of the
nice.
craziest files out there. I'm like, okay, because I remember when I was watching the Honey Badger one, how he's like showing like the slaughter patch, no one even has. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I'm like, I could only imagine what the top dollar would go ahead and be someone would try to buy that for. I have my buddies trying to buy my slaughter patches that I have here that I bought from like the fight night.
Yeah.
When they released it, my buddy's like, look, let me go ahead and buy that OG one. I'm like, no, it's like $100. I'm like, the fuck is wrong with you? Wait, we paid. There's gonna be another drop. 100. Come on. I'm like, no, it's mine. I don't know if he's gonna release it again. Fuck you, no. I just, dude, come on. He's like, oh, okay, so I see how it is. I'm like, really gonna pull that card with me? You're like, wow, okay. I'll unfriend you. And then he unfriends me, or he'll kick me from the chat.
Yeah,
He'll add
yeah.
me back in. He's like, do you see how that felt? You're gonna go ahead and
Oh
sell it to
my
me now?
God, that's
I'm
funny.
like, dude, you're petty as shit. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start up another chat. So I'll start up another chat, and then when he starts asking me, I'll kick him from it, and I'll leave him off it for a day, and then I'll bring him back in. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about you. And
Oh
so it's
shit.
crazy. It's crazy the amount of validation some people
Yeah.
put on the slaughter patches, but I love how Punk does it. How he goes ahead and like sets up like the groundwork and like the video, everything like that. I was hooked on the video he went ahead and released for Fight Night, and how he went ahead and it was almost like a demonic poetry. How he wrote out
Oh
stuff,
shit.
and I'm like, fuck, man! It took me forever to find the damn video,
Yeah.
and I'm like, damn, dude, like I really like how he did that. And it's more about like going out there to conquer whatever obstacle or whatever thing is in your way. You have to slaughter that shit. I'm like, dude, I love this damn message and everything like that. So it's grown so huge. So when you go ahead and you see all these people wearing slaughter stuff all over the place,
Yeah.
like I'll go out to the movies, I'm wearing either my like fuck RGK
Yeah, I
shirts,
like that
or I'm
shirt.
wearing my or I'm wearing like the slaughter shirt and everything like that. I'm always wearing, because I'm just trying to show love, show support to the
Yeah.
community, things like that. And so it's so crazy to know that I was able to meet these people. And I think one of the craziest things that I actually ended up getting onto, because it's been like a whole entire like path and journey to get to where I'm at. And it's crazy amount of foundation I've had to go ahead and set up, and like people I've been reaching out to, or like, okay, cool, like people brush me off, leave me on red, and I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna show you with success. That's my revenge to you.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk shit. I'm not gonna badmouth you. The best way I see revenge is through success.
Yeah.
That's always how I go ahead and see it. That's always how I've trained my mind. I'm not trying to be vindictive.
No.
There's already a lot of bad shit in our community. I
Yeah.
don't want to be a part of that. And so my thing is I'll teach people with success. And I
Yeah.
remember me, after the Eon thing, and I did his mags. I remember LA Kappa went ahead and was like, "Dude, it looks so good," and he typed it on a message. He's like, "Those mags look awesome," and I remember responding back to him like, "Hey, let's make something happen, this and that," and we were
Yeah.
DMing back and forth. He's like, maybe later, man. Like, I don't know, this and that. I'm like, okay, year
Huh.
goes by.
Yeah.
From I kid you not, almost a year goes by, and where I was back in that time versus where I was at the time me and Ellie Kappa started working together, it was one of those things where if you were to see the quality of work, I continuously try to improve myself, up myself. I don't try to ever stay stagnant. I'm trying to bring different
Yeah.
colors. Like, you know what? People haven't thought about mood ring colors. Cool. So I'm making mood ring hand stops and motor grips. So when motor grips
Oh,
heat up when
nice.
you're shooting it, it goes ahead and shifts colors.
Oh,
I'm trying to
shit.
think of I'm trying to think of chameleon colors. I'm trying to do all sorts of stuff to try to like push myself even further and kind of like, even though I don't really know many people trying to like necessarily compete with me, I know I'm
Right.
competing against like anodizing or
Hmm.
Cerakoting. But as I go out and I tell people and they're like, wait, how much is your stuff? I'm like, look, I'm an airsofter first. I know everybody's balling on a budget, and I know for a fact if I were to tell you X amount of price, you're going to haggle me down. So if I tell you this range of price and you want all the things in the world, this is where it's going to top out at. But guess
Right.
what? Just kind of like how you're shopping for cars, you got to kind of drop some packages down to get that,
Yep.
that doable price. So that's where
Hmm.
my mindset's always kind of been. And so I'm always trying to network with different people and do
Right.
different things, different stores. And I remember I was getting a lot of traction with my mask, but it wasn't where I really wanted to be. But I know where like my vision is, what I want to go ahead and do, things like
Yeah.
that. And I think where I wanted to, I'm like, you know what, I want to get my masks overseas. I want to do
Gotcha.
dealer partnerships and everything like
Yeah.
that with different people. I want to, get my Odins cheaper. And I
Have
remember
you
getting on
have
with
you talked with anyone in the UK yet about
oh yeah,
those?
I
Okay.
already
Okay.
I got two masks out there in the UK already.
Good.
And I got one magazine for my 5K giveaway out there, and then I just sent off a mass to the Netherlands, and I
Oh,
have another
nice.
guy lined. I have another guy lined up for Spain, another one for Switzerland, and one more from Belgium and
Hell yeah.
Spain. Oh no, not sorry, it's not Spain, Brazil.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm trying to like
Awesome.
slowly work things, but I mean the
Well,
amount to
what I was gonna
cost
say
to
about
ship.
that, the price thing, like earlier
Yeah,
you were talking about like the one guy that you okay, like you said okay and then it was a bigger project. So what we
yeah,
do, the work I do, like we flip houses, we do construction. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
if we do a side job
Mhm,
and we get hit up all the time for these side jobs, whatever, if we go walk the job
mhm.
and we look at it and we're like, and you talk with the people, whatever, and you see like,
Yeah.
okay, they want some really intricate shit that's going to be a lot of labor.
Hmm.
So, they're going to be like, no, this is because you can tell kind of how they're talking and like, I want this done. And I talked to two other people and they gave me they overpriced it, whatever. So what we do in our industry is instead of saying no, we won't do it. We just
Yeah.
send them an invoice, or I mean, we send them a quote that's like
Hmm.
way more than what we know that they're going to accept,
Yeah.
and that way they say no because it's too
Yeah.
high. And
Yeah.
so that's your out. If you don't want to say no to somebody, but you don't want to do the work, you're like, yeah, you know, 5 grand,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
then they're
I
like,
know exactly how
you
it
know,
is. Yep.
but like, hey, I gotta, I can do your stuff, okay,
Yeah.
but I've got 20 other projects waiting. I could put yours to the front and get this done, but it's
Oh,
going to cost
yeah.
extra, okay? $5,600, and I'll get this done. And it's something they're not going to pay. But then maybe
Yep.
sometimes you're going to get this one guy who's like, "Yep, do it," and you're like, "Oh shit."
Yep. Yep. I know exactly how that is because I do that same exact thing when like someone's like, I want to do this and design, and they're not listening to me. Or I'm like, the vent holes.
Yeah, there's
The
certain
vent
things that
holes.
are not possible. Like,
And I'm like, dude, you can't do that because of the vent. Well, what if you were to go and do this? I'm like, it's not possible. What? Well, can you give me a suggestion? Can you draw it out? I'm like, I don't have time to draw it out, but I can tell you right now what's going to work. So what if you did this? I don't like that. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, look, this is how much it's going to go ahead and cost. And sometimes I'll max out some stuff, and I'll be
yeah,
like, look, this thing's going to go ahead and be like 180. And I have this crazy person like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. Like, even the guy from the Netherlands, it was funny because my wait list is now pushed out until September again.
Yeah.
And it was I told him like, look, this and that. He's like, well, is there any way I can go ahead and get forward? I'm like, I have a fee. No one ever pays it when I tell him, what's the fee? I'm like, it's $100
Yeah.
to go ahead and skip the line, hop right here in front and everything like that. But he wanted a Venom design. And the cool part was is that I was already about to go ahead and start and wrap up another Venom design.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it's fine. I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to go ahead and do it. And I kid you not, I paired them up both together, and I was working on both these Venom designs. I put one tooth right here, and I was just working them at the same time. I told that dude, I'm like, your turnaround time, when someone skips the line, I tell them 1 to 2 weeks instead of my 3 to 4 weeks.
Right.
I just had knee surgery, so my times have been kind of like pushed out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I told him that. He's like, okay, cool. And I nailed the 1 week marker while also finishing up another mask and also 5 other masks to go ahead and pair along with the whole entire thing. And so I try to, usually when I'm working on stuff, even to try to fall asleep, I'm thinking about all the projects. I'm like, okay, what do I got to do tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And then I'll fall asleep and I'll wake up. I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and get a workout in real quick. And we'll come back upstairs and we'll start painting. And typically I'm painting from anywhere from 8 hours to 12 hours a day.
Wow.
And it's so soothing to me where I just lose track of times. I'll listen to podcasts. I'll have like movies, music playing, and I'll just be right here in my own little world, experimenting, doing different things. And it's just like my flow state, and I forget about it. I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm hungry. And so I'll go downstairs and, I'm like, okay, cool. And I'll come back upstairs. And I mean, I've been off of work and I've been battling a knee injury since September 16th of last year.
Damn.
Because me being like the bigger, stronger dude in my shop, they give me the very shitty cars.
Yeah.
I'm talking lifted trucks, school buses, semi trucks. I'm just like,
oh shit.
I'm like
heavy glass.
Yeah, I'm talking like semi truck glass, 1 pane pieces of glass, like that goes full shield. It's like 100+ pounds.
Jesus.
And so I'm like, okay. And then usually I'm trying to coordinate with other people to get them over to help me. And then you're over here working out in 100 to 115 degree weather. And then that thing gets cooking. That glass is hot as shit. And you're waiting for somebody else. You're sweating. You're like, dude, and me,
I am climbing up and down.
Oh my God, it's terrible. And then I'll be impatient. So like, it was one of those things where I'm like, I'm so prideful. I try not to depend on anybody.
Right.
Whether it be, me painting, me doing car installs, things like that. So like, I started getting good at just doing all the work by myself. And I said, F it. And so I'm over here lifting up pieces of glass above my head, 120, 130 pounds. Woo. And I'm over here like looking at like my stepper, and I'm like having to balance. Took one step up, take the next step up, and I'm carrying this glass above my head. I set it on the engine block, slide it over, and I'm lifting this thing up by myself, stinking in, while my glue is soup. And it's just bad. And I remember I was doing this like Ford F-350, really big piece of glass, super lifted truck because it was a utility truck.
Yeah.
And when I was lifting the glass over, because we have this weird mechanism where you have to like hold your hands almost like this, and you grip it, and you're lifting it over the hood. My hands were probably right here above my head. Yeah. And this is like the angle of my wrist.
Oh, shit.
So I'm over here holding it like this. I'm taking a step up on my stepper. I'm like, all right, cool. Setting in the glass. And right before that I had injured my leg, but I kept on doing the job before like my injury started settling in.
Yeah.
And when I was stepping down off of it, you'd almost have to hold onto the roof and onto the top of the truck. And as you step down, you release, and then you kind of like hobble down. My leg, because I was leading with my right leg, hyperextended inwards.
Oh, yeah.
And then I felt a pop go out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I just tore my ACL, this and that. I'm like, I am freaking out. And I'm like sitting down on like my stepper that's 100+ degrees. I'm like burning my ass and feeling my knee. I'm like, okay, we're good. I'm like, no, we're good. The next day, it turns out to be my legs all swollen, my knees all swollen. I finished up 3 cars after I had injured my leg. And they sent me to Concentra over here, which is like a little clinic. And they put me in physical therapy. They're like, oh, yeah, it's just swollen. I'm like, something is wrong with my knee. And I am by no means a small guy neither. At the time, I was weighing about 276. Oh, no, sorry, 268.
Yeah.
And walking around on my knee, I just kept on feeling the sharp pain. I'm like, there's something wrong with my knee. And I'm trying to do installs and everything. They ended up laying me off of work. and just for them to find out that I had a partial tear in my MCL.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, okay, cool. That's why I've been in pain. No
Yeah.
surgery. They've just been trying to do physical therapy with me, released me. I was back to work in February. But the beautiful part about having all that time off is I'm like, let's open up the fucking floodgates.
Yeah.
Send me all your masks. And so I'm like telling people, like, come on, send it over, send it over. I thought you said in a couple of months. No, send
Yeah.
it
Let's
over.
do it. Let's get it.
Send it over. Yeah, and so I was able to go ahead and gain a lot of traction, gain more things.
Yeah.
And I remember talking to Andrew Ho from PTS. And I'm like, look, I'm a small business owner. I don't have my LLC yet. It is in the works. I don't have a website yet. It is in the works. I'm like, I want to go ahead and only do things through you guys and get your, Odins and PTS mags.
Yeah.
The guy's amazing. He's like, you know what? I'll hook you up with a discount.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
cool.
cool.
And it was so cool to go ahead and, be free and not have to depend on anybody to go ahead and have to focus on buying my mag strips, buying my Odin strip, and being kind of at their mercy.
Right.
And so it was really nice to get that, like, that freedom right there. And then I started setting up foundations, and then I started talking with Steve from SS Airsoft.
Oh yeah.
And I remember I had painted this slide, and it had, because I was buying the stock Gold Match Tokyo Marui slides.
Mm.
And I was painting them, and I remember I did one that was like a comic book one, and it said like boom, pow, pop, zap, like the weird comic book like things.
Yeah.
And I went ahead and I did this in a white background. I did some with like anime clouds, like I did all like this whole arsenal. And I remember we were talking about doing masks, and I kept on like, I'm like, look, I'll send you all the masks I do and everything if you guys want to just keep thought in it. And I kept on sending them, and then finally after, I remember it was that slide, and they're like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. And then they started out with 3. I'm like, okay, cool. See how these sell. I don't even know what to go ahead and sell them at. Like, dude, it's the first time for me selling, like, for have a retail selling mask. Let's experiment. He sold them at $330 for the very first store I ever did from. Yeah. That was my paint job, everything like that. And at the time, I was getting a discount through him to get, my mask through him. And in return, I was giving him my wholesale discount. So it was like a win-win. Right. And the beautiful part about the whole entire thing was those 3 masks lasted less than 24 hours.
Yep.
He's like, okay, let's go ahead and do another 9. I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it.
No shit, right?
It slowly started like gaining traction. And, he sold those next 9 for another $330. Stood there, I would say if lucky, 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then another 12. I'm like, okay,
shit.
like, hey, like, yo, whoa. And it was crazy because it's not just Georgia was buying these masks. These masks were making it all over the place in the United States, Texas, California. I've seen some out there in Oregon, and they're just touching down all over the place. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. I'm like, holy shit. And then people are like so happy, and they're tagging me in photos, and I'm seeing like some of the like the KWA Tactical League. One of my masks, they loved the mask so much and how it looked and how demonic. And it was one of my 2nd gen or 3rd gen masks that I had done. And it had blood dripping down the side. Okay. And I had an evil smile in the front. And the photographer there kept on like focusing and like honing in on this one person. So they'd go ahead and take just gorgeous pictures of them.
Oh, shit.
And he was sending them over to me. And then KWA Tactical League's talking to me like, yeah, we'd like to go ahead and get you out here. I'm like, dude, I'm tied up with SS right now. I have to go to the anniversary event maybe after. Like, yeah, let us know. And like, holy shit, my wife's like, yeah, we're gonna have to get a business like card to go ahead and like, for traveling. I'm like, we're not gonna get there yet. This being my first event ever, I wanted to make a stamp and I wanted to make it like memorable. Yeah. Me and my wife drove from Arizona to Georgia, 28 hours.
Damn.
We drove 28 hours through all sorts of shit, through windstorms. We barely missed some tornadoes. There was hail. It was all sorts of shit to get all the way over there. And at first, I wasn't able to make it. I was telling him, like, Steve, I can't make it. He's like, dude, I'd love to get you out here. I'm like, I don't know. But then I started budgeting things out. I'm like looking at stuff. I'm like, okay. And at the time, I wasn't working for Safe Flight. So I'm like, money's a little tight. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I have to go ahead and sometimes just take a shot. So I worked my ass off, got a lot of stuff finished up, got a lot of money back, was able to make it out there. Everything worked out perfect. Got out there, and at that time, I was able to go ahead and meet Lenny and Danielle from EA, or Extreme Airsoft. Oh, okay. I was able to go ahead and meet Tom and his buddy from Amped, I was able to go ahead and meet PNW Punk or Slaughter in person. I was able to see all these
Yeah.
people. And the crazy part about the whole entire thing, like I was networking and I was talking to different people, and it was just unbelievable to go ahead and see where I've been. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. And to even see how many people were coming up to my booth alone.
Yeah.
And I always had a crowd just when I thought I'd be sitting down. And, I'm over here with my knee injury still. I'm like, dude, this shit is sucking. Holy shit. So when I sat down, I'm like, the person walks up, I'm like, hey, what's
Yeah.
up? Trying to just like poker face, hide my pain. I'm like, yeah, And it was so funny going out there. And, Steve and them were absolutely amazing. They provided us with canopies and tables and this and that. I'm like, this is crazy to see stuff. And I got to go ahead and meet Call of Duty. There was the guy who played Call of Duty Ghosts
Yeah.
for
Jammer.
2019. Yeah, Jammer. You know him?
I follow him on Instagram. You know who told me about him was Honey Badger.
Yeah, I
That
gotta go
dude is.
ahead.
He knows everybody,
He
bro.
he is a badass, and I got to go ahead and talk to him because he made his way down, like the canopies, and my dumbass didn't know that he
Yeah.
was making his way down. So I'm like, how cool would it? Because I had my one of one like 5K giveaway mask there. And I'm
Yeah.
like, how cool would it be if I had him sign the
Yeah.
lens of the mask?
Yeah.
So I told him, like, can you go? And me being a fucking nerd, I brought out my Call of Duty Modern Warfare game, and I had him sign the disc.
Oh
And
shit.
then so he signed the disc for me, and then he also even signed the lens for me. So I'm like, I'm geeking. My wife took a picture of me and him with him. So I'm like,
Oh
okay,
man.
this is so cool. And Rex is right there by his side. I'm like, yo, this is
Yeah.
some crazy shit. And then next thing you know, I see him making his way back down. I'm like, I'm such an idiot. I should have just waited my damn turn. And I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm like, can you go ahead and also sign this case? And so we started talking and everything like that. And he's like, dude, he's like, I really like this airsoft stuff. He's like, could you possibly go ahead and paint me a mask? And I'm like, what would you want on it? He was like, I want the ghost mask. And I'm
Ghost.
like,
Yeah.
but the fucking first thought in my head is like vent holes.
Vent holes.
Fuck.
Oh
I'm like,
shit. You can't
you know
tell him
what?
no, bro. This is Jammer.
I couldn't. So I'm like, no, like I can go ahead and do that. I'm like, hear me out, Jammer. I haven't done this technique in a while, but I know how to plug up those vent holes. Are you gonna go ahead and be actively playing it? But then he's like, kind of, so and so, this and that. I'm like, well, there's a lot of ventilation that comes underneath and through the sides and the
Right.
top. I'm like, I sweat a lot. I plugged up a lot of my vent holes. I have zero issue with mine. He's like, okay. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm good with that. And he's like, what kind of mask do you want? And so I'm like, telling him, like, let's go ahead and do, I want the Onyx Black ones to be the most versatile, things
Yeah.
like that. And next thing you know, Scott Hellenbeck from US Airsoft,
Oh yeah.
I got pretty close with him. I got to go ahead and meet RGK. I got to meet
Nice.
Little Miss in person. I got to meet all these
Yep.
cool people. We're going out to dinners and everything like that, like all the days. I never had a dinner where it was me, my wife, and Little Miss and Billy because we were all rooming together. Nope, it was one of those where every single night was a different party. And it was
Nice.
so cool to be sitting down in the presence of like, sitting there with like Dennis, the manager from SS, and you have Colby who runs Hop Up. You have
Oh
US
shit.
Airsoft there. You have RGK there, Little Miss. You have the C7 Vipers. You have OC Airsoft. And I'm like, I'm fucking sitting at this table. I'm like, holy shit. And the most annoying thing that happened was every single time the Vipers would see me, they just thought it was funny because they know I don't like the spotlight. Is that Rogue Customs? I'm like, you motherfuckers. I'm like,
Oh, that's
every single
awesome.
time. I remember on Friday night of the events, this little kid wanted to meet me. He's like, I heard Rogue's here. I'm like, yeah, man, he's somewhere around here, bro. Like, I don't know where he's at. I'm
Oh
like, I think he
shit.
went that way. He's like, oh, did he? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, he's a pretty scrawny guy and everything. You should go ahead and see him. He's
Oh
wearing like
shit.
some stuff. And so I sent him off the way. I'm like, okay, cool. I was kind of like, I'm good, I'm good. And then the fucked part was that it was revenge right after that. And it was karma. Because I kid you not, as I wanted to go up into the tower to overlook and watch all the gameplay, and the Vipers were sitting in there because they're going to play on the field. And as I had went ahead and I walked, I opened up the door to walk in there. They start with their bullshit. Is that Rogue Customs? And the little kid I had just joked with is sitting right there, and I'm like, the little kid's like, it is you. I'm like, oh shit. fit. I'm like, what's up, man? Can I get a picture with you after the game? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, come play the game. I'm like, all right. Put all my stuff, and it was so surreal to go ahead and be able to like talk and network and talk with all these people and develop all these friendships and everything with everybody. I'm like, this is such an incredible community, and this is the first time my wife was ever like around it. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
hope the community shows out like how I know they are.
Yeah.
And she fell in love. She doesn't
Yeah.
even play airsoft. She's like, I want a mask. I'm like, you don't fucking play. Well, what if I'm going out into the field to take pictures? And I'm like, really?
Oh,
She's like,
that's awesome.
yeah.
She wants to be part of it, bro.
Oh, yeah, and it's
That's
so amazing
cool.
because so now she lays down my Louis Vuitton. If I have Gucci, she lays it down for me. And or if I'm having her peel off Damascus, she peels off the Damascus and weeds it out for me. So she has a
Damn.
huge part in it now. And her and my mother-in-law, they help me out here and there,
That's
different
awesome.
projects, things like that. And so it's been amazing. And then going back to Jammer, so it's almost done. Almost done. Okay, take it with a grain of salt. All right. So here, let me move the light. But
Oh shit.
yeah,
Dude, that's looking
plug,
good.
so I plugged up the vent holes and everything,
Right. Oh my
and
God, that looks badass.
then it's gonna go ahead and be black multicam on the outside.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I did his.
Dude.
So I'm
So
almost done with
that's
his
his
mask.
right now. That's what you're working
That's
on.
his. That is his mask. Yes.
Bro, that's
Yeah.
fucking cool, man. Is this
Yeah.
cool to show that cause this is gonna release
Oh yeah. That's
Saturday
fine.
night.
That's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Not a lot of people actually know that I was doing that. So a lot of people, and they're like messaging me like, "Can I go ahead and do the ghost mask?" I'm like, as much as I want to go ahead and do the ghost mask for you, I can't. The
Yeah.
reason why is because it's only for him, and
Right.
we kept an exclusive thing. And he even threw out a really cool idea at SS. He's like, yeah, depending on like I want to go ahead and do it to where if we were to do like a charity event, where the proceeds go to like a veteran foundation or something like
Yeah.
that, and we go ahead and we do that. And we release these masks, and the highest bidder gets them. I'm like, fucking done. Let's go ahead
Yeah.
and do it. Let's run this shit up. And so that's why I want to execute this thing perfectly.
Yeah,
So then
dude.
that way he sees it, he takes pride in it because he was already loving it. If you were to see the bucktooth one that I had sent him first, the prototype one, it was the ugliest thing. It looked fucking terrible, and he thought it was wicked. I'm like,
Oh
what?
shit.
What is wrong with you? You are Ghost. And so like it was like the funniest thing going ahead. I'm like, no, like, and he's kind of like one of those where I see him as like an influencer, celebrity type of deal.
Yeah.
Big, like that is like big for me. And he's already talking to me about doing some very secretive behind the scenes. I'll show you like later about it because I can't release it whatsoever.
Gotcha.
But it's so crazy to go ahead and be like, this is about to blow up for me. And me, I'm getting ready
Yeah,
like
that's
to
cool.
launch my website here soon enough and do other different things. And I'll even show you another project I just finished up where I figured out another market I can dip into, but it also relates to airsoft that no one is touching. So I'm like,
Gotcha.
okay, cool. And it's
Oh, that's
just
cool.
it's so cool to go ahead and see how everything's going. And then with EA Fest being right around the corner, I'm like, okay, we're definitely not driving to fucking Rhode Island. Fuck that. I got my driving in for the year. We're flying. And so,
Yeah.
we got everything booked, and I now know so many people that
When
I
is
created my
EA
own.
Fest? Somebody just told me
It's
about
in,
that.
it's gonna be September 23rd, 24th, and
Oh,
25th.
that's right. Spooky.
It's
She just told me about it. I just
yes.
talked to her last night.
I'm telling you right now, do it. If you can go ahead and get out there, it's gonna be
That's what
badass.
she's saying. Yeah.
Whether you play or not, I'm the one who convinced her ass to go. I'm like, Spooky, you better get out
Oh
there
shit.
and everything like that. And she's like, I don't know. She's like, should we? Because her husband, who's like a very silent person, he goes by
Yeah,
Sandy
Nick.
Cheeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the funniest shit because he goes by Sandy Cheeks, so it's like the most like non-serious name
Yep.
out there, and he's one of the top like 1v1 killers out of Georgia. When they
Yeah.
do the 1v1 tournaments, he's like won two of them and everything like that. I'm like,
He's a fellow jarhead. He was in the Marines.
yeah,
I was in the
yeah,
Marines. Jammer
okay.
was in the Marines.
Jammer was in the
So
Marines, yeah,
yeah, yeah, we're all fellow jarheads. I mean, all different times. Obviously, I went in.
yeah,
I'm older than Jammer. Uh, I don't know by how much, but he went in after years later, and then
yeah,
of course Nick is
mm,
the youngest
yep,
of us three for sure. But
yeah,
yeah, that. Well, listen, man. Everyone that's gonna watch this and listen to this guy right here because the beginning of what you were talking about in the very beginning, what I'm hearing this whole time, okay, if you, anyone that's listening, if you want to start a business, this is how you do it right here. The way this guy's talking, this is what you do. Uh, he put himself in an uncomfortable situation, right? When you're talking about like, hey, can you paint this? And you're like,
Yeah.
yep. But inside you're like, shit, I don't like. You got to put yourself in a holy shit, I don't know what to do moment
You have to
over and over
always
and over. You
challenge
got
yourself.
to be uncomfortable to
Hmm.
grow. Period.
Yep.
If you are in
Yep.
your comfort zone all the time, that's where you die. That's where your dreams die. Honestly,
Yep. Yep.
you got to put yourself out there. And then he went out here and networked with people. He wasn't afraid to contact people, even if he's an introvert. He got out of his comfort zone. The whole time you're talking, bro, all I'm hearing is, I didn't know what to do, but I fucking did it. I didn't know
Yeah.
what to do, but I said yes. I didn't really want to talk to people, but I fucking did it.
Yeah.
Like, this is classic uh, business basics 101 for real.
Yeah.
This is what you got to do. You got to take action when you're uncomfortable and you put yourself in that position where, hey, I don't know, but I'm going to fucking figure it out. And that's what
It's
you've done.
unbelievable. Yeah. It's
That's why you're
been,
growing, bro. That's why
yeah,
you're growing. It's
it's
fucking
crazy.
great.
It's crazy because like now I'm like thinking about what I can go ahead and do. And I mean, I want to bring out, for people who want to go ahead and know about it, who will watch it, who'll be out at EA Fest, they can kind of listen to it here. And I'll even throw this in as like a little tiny, like, listen for this because there's going to go ahead and be a little Easter egg in here. But I plan on bringing out my new generation of golden ticket patches out there. It's not going to look like this.
Ooh.
This, I'm like, okay, cool, time to upgrade. You know, that's the old. I want to go ahead and do something insane. Bring out the new generation patches. I have to figure out how many slots, what the prices are, and everything. But anyone at EA Fest who wants to buy them will have their very first give at it, and it's going to be for 7.5K followers. So once I go ahead and I hit that, they're going to get one of one crazy custom items. I'm already talking with huge people, companies I'm working with who want to go ahead and chip in with it just because they see the stuff that I'm doing. They want to help out. And I mean, the biggest thing for me is, the consistency
Yeah.
because at one point in time, I was scrapping. I was over here like begging people. And the worst part is like, you're not going to go ahead and throw yourself out there and expect for my mask to sell for $330. No, no, no.
Right.
You have to lay down that foundation, but then you can't forget about the people who believed in you when your vision was
Yeah.
this
In the
small. They're like,
beginning.
dude, this is
Hmm.
going to be big. And those are those people you want to go ahead and have. And that's the reason why I try to, stay as humble as I possibly can. Even with me having 5,000 plus followers, I treat them like 500.
Yeah,
I
of
don't care if I
course.
get, I don't care if I get, if I get 100 likes on a post that I go ahead and I do, that to
Hmm.
me is amazing because I know how happy and I remind myself on a day to day basis how excited I was when I
Yeah.
got 15. I'm
No
like,
shit.
oh my God. And I remember all of it. I even remember the day I got my LLC. I was just at the computer and I was just tearing up. And my wife's like, are you good? And I turned the computer towards her and I'm just like tearing up even more. And she's like, oh my God, you got it. I started crying. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, this has been a journey and a half. And to
Yeah,
see
man.
my mass now touching down overseas and
Hmm.
where my mind wants to go ahead and go, how I want to incorporate custom one of one cases for these masks for people and
Yeah.
everything like that. It's just one of those where I'm like, man, it's been a crazy journey. And I even tell people like I started with 98 followers.
Yeah.
And it was about the grind, it was about staying consistent, like harassing people, finding the people that are going to go ahead and be in your corner, who are going to be harassing for you in a respectful way, of course.
Yeah.
But to go ahead and make it to where you're going to go ahead and be pushed and introduced to different people and you're like, "Oh, hey, what's up, man?"
Yeah.
This and that, and it's been unbelievable and it's crazy because I get to go ahead and now I'm doing work for pretty much all like the main high kappa builders. So Blowback Masters, Take One, LA Kappa. I'm doing work for all of them now. I'm
Damn.
doing work for fuck I have three SSG ones here, an ARP9 and a CM16 here, two masks and fuck two Odins. I think like mags, two AP1s, and two haters here just for amped.
Yeah.
That's not including the 10 masks that I have for what is it, EA. That's not including another three math that I'm doing for SS. That's and me getting in all these orders, me looking at all my inventory and seeing what I'm doing, and I'm like, man, how can I go ahead and improve some stuff? And learning and teaching myself how to do like different things. Like even when my surgery was done on July 14th for my knee, and I was just like bedridden, I couldn't do shit. I'm like, I want to paint. I'm like looking at all this stuff in my room, I'm like, this really fucking sucks. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, I can teach myself how to edit my stencil. So I'm on my laptop, hurting in pain, like half in, half out of it because of my painkillers, like editing some files and making
Yeah.
different teeth designs and everything like that. So that way I could touch down even further and get even further. And like even this one, this is going to be a new release for some teeth designs. I don't mind showing it because people are going to go ahead and see it. So I
Yeah.
did this one where it's going to be like a half demonic smile on this side, and then it turns into a normal smile on this side.
Oh, that's cool.
So you'll go ahead and you'll have like stuff like this one. I even designed sharper and longer teeth.
Oh shit.
So I went ahead, I did stuff like this one.
Whoa.
And I had to go ahead and I had to go in there and hand like pretty much stretch out and do every single one. And then I even got into I'm kind of like a shoe type of person. So I'm like, you know what? I really like the design, the elephant design, the
Yeah.
elephant skins. So I started doing the elephant skin design on Odin's. And I'm gonna go ahead and put like Jordan symbols, things like that on there for like some shoe people, which
Damn,
would be
that's
really,
cool.
really cool.
Right.
And then this one's gonna be my baby, and this is gonna be my thank you to Slaughter. But this
Oh,
is
that's
one of
cool.
his unreleased Slaughter
Oh, that's
logos
cool.
that he sent me the file to. So I did a Slaughter Louis Vuitton, but
Yeah.
I'm doing digital on it.
Yeah, that's cool as shit, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's been quite the journey, and I mean, my mind just races all of the time, doing all sorts of different things. You know what? Here, screw it. I don't care. People can go ahead and see it. They're going to see it at
Oh
EA no
shit.
matter what.
Big reveal.
Yeah,
Oh damn, dude.
yeah.
That's some
So
cool shit. So
I
you
wa I wa.
you airbrush that?
Yep.
No shit.
Here, let me move my. There we go. The light's a little bit better. And the best part is the white on the back is all glow in the dark.
Oh, that's cool. What is that design on the back?
So this is here. Let me go ahead and flip. I'm gonna flip my camera around. And I'll show
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
the design, because the back camera will go ahead and capture this thing way better than my front camera will. Let me go ahead. How do I flip it?
Big reveal, people. Okay, pay attention here.
So
This is cool.
this is what I call black ice,
Oh, that's awesome.
and there's a lot of like just absolutely gorgeous detail in it.
Yeah.
And the best part about it is that the white underneath is all a glow in the dark coating.
Oh
So
shit.
when someone plays outside and they're clearing a building or something like that with his gun, all of the white will go ahead and be glowing on it.
Damn.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, cool. Like, how can I go ahead and keep on like trying to elevate? And then my shoes, for instance, here, let me go ahead and. So I wanted to do a black ice Nike swoosh since that's been like kind of like my go-to.
Right.
And the best part is that a lot of this white, because there's like a double layered white,
Uh-huh.
this white right here and some other white, when you take it out into the sun, it shifts colors.
Oh, that's fucking cool, bro.
Yeah, so
Wow.
I told myself, I'm like, how cool would it go ahead and be when, it, like, in the future, I start releasing shoes with masks,
Yep.
so they can go, or shoes with people's team names and everything on there.
Hey, do you follow call sign Tonka?
I think so.
Okay, because he's big about getting his whole setup together, like all his uniform and everything, and the shoes.
Doesn't
He
he
always
like?
has.
Doesn't he go ahead and pair a lot of shoes and everything like that with his
Yes.
stuff? Right.
Yes.
I remember. Yes, yes, yes.
He would be. I bet he'd be down for something like that. Custom shoes for his outfit.
Yeah, it would that one just because you have to use a completely different type of paint was a
Gotcha.
complete bitch. So I had to go like even though I use Createx colors for my main airbrushing and everything I go ahead and I do,
Yeah.
for those you have to use Angelus because Angelus is like the only leather paint out there. And it's a
Huh.
whole different prep method. It's a whole different clear coat, how you go ahead and peel off stencils, what kind of stencils you can use. It's a whole different ballgame. So I had to go ahead and teach myself and watch videos and everything of,
Yeah.
hey, how are these people doing it? And I'm like
Well,
looking
you're
at something like,
constantly learning and growing and
mhm,
checking shit out. Like that's cool, man.
yeah,
Now, were you
yeah.
always like into drawing and artists like growing up? Did you grow up in Oregon?
Yeah,
Where you said?
I grew up in Southern Oregon, and I never got into art until I would say when I was a freshman in high school. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, like I need an easy grade. I'm like, I'm kind of decent at sketching. I'm like, fuck it, why not? Took art one. I'm like, okay, cool. And then my teacher's like, you're really good at it, because like they're having us like shade. I'm like, bro, I'm sketching out stuff like how I normally would. And she's like, who
Yeah.
taught? Like, you're not doing solid lines. Like you're doing like little scratch lines. Like who taught you how to do it? I'm like, I don't know. Like I it's just what feels comfortable. She's like, well,
Yeah.
who taught you how to shade? I'm like, well, I'm just thinking about how it's going to shade in my head. And then so she kept on challenging me. And I remember going into advanced placement art class.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my masterpiece that I got to go ahead and sell, you know what a scratch board is
No.
by chance? So a scratch board, I remember when I was younger, it's like a it's like a board that has a black coating over the top. And when you scratch it with a sharp object, color will reveal underneath almost like chalk.
Oh,
So
okay. I've
some of
seen them. I
these,
didn't know they were called that. Yeah.
yes, yeah. So the scratch board, I remember buying one, and my teacher had got it for me, and she's like, "Okay, if you're gonna go do something amazing, let's see it." I'm like, "Perfect." I was going through a breakup at the time and everything. Got kicked out of my house just because I was a troublesome teen, and I was just like, "Man, I'm just gonna go ahead and just put all my emotion into this shit." I spent 45 plus hours with an X-Acto knife, just scratching, scratching, scratching. And I made the most beautiful thing, which was these two lions. It was a lion with his mane and everything, and a lioness together.
Yeah.
And I remember scratching everything out and all this stuff, and it came together. And you would usually have like an art show, and I'm like, okay, I wonder if someone's gonna go ahead and buy it. Like, we'll fucking see.
Yeah.
And I remember Mr. Akil, he went ahead and he was like our front attendance person and everything. Super cool guy. He doesn't need the money. He just did it to keep himself busy. He used to be a professional soccer player in some other country of some sort.
Oh shit.
And he was there, and he's like, and he was always seeing me work on it because I was in his like, little attendance spot because I was his assistant, but he just let me do my thing. I'd just be
Right.
right there, just my headphones on, just scratching all day, every day. I looked like some weird like emo kid. I'd be at like my own table. Even though I have a bunch of friends, I'd be at my own table, cleared out, just
Yeah.
scratching, scratching, and then like a song would come on with my ex. I'm like tearing up and crying. I'm like
Oh shit.
scratching. Oh, and there was just one of those things where it was so crazy to see this whole entire thing come to life. I'm like, damn, I'm like, this is crazy. When I got into airbrushing, no idea, no idea, never even heard of it. I'm like, what? Fuck it, why not? You know, I've done wildland firefighting, and that shit fucking sucks. This can't be any bad. And I was over here like, I need something to pass my time anyway. So I dipping into airbrushing. I remember I was going to like Hobby Lobby, and they had these really shitty fucking acrylic paints for
Yeah.
airbrushing. And I'd have to think in my head, I'm like, what color mixes what color? I'm like, how the fuck do I make that? Okay, cool. So I'm like, really like having to Google shit and like, okay, cool. I need these colors to make this color. And I remember I wish I had a fucking picture of it. It kills me that I don't. I took so much pride in this little fucking station because at the time I was living in a garage and I was kicked out of my house and everything. I was waiting for the next fire season to start.
Yeah.
And I had this like foam board that you could do like projects with. And I had cut it out, I was measuring it, and I was like thinking in my head, I'm like, I want to build myself a little paint station right here. And so I had this little foam board. I did little tiny cutouts and everything to put my paints in and a little
Nice.
backdrop. And I was so proud of this little tiny fucking thing. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, oh, dude, I was so
Little
happy.
art station.
Dude, it was the funniest thing because my little mobile art station and shit. And
Yeah.
it was the funniest thing because, like, I remember going ahead and that's where I started. That was my roots. And then now I'm like looking at my shit. I'm like looking at my desk setup. I now have like 3 racks. I have a rack downstairs for when I clear coat. I now have 2 racks in here for things that are almost done, things that are going ahead and being started. And it's just like, it's one of those things where it's a very humbling experience. And when people tell me like, you should be charging more this time, I'm like, dude, look, I know where I started from. I started in a fucking garage.
Yeah.
I didn't have nothing to my name. And I remember telling my wife, I'm like, watch, I'm like, one day, mark my words, I'm going to be successful with this.
Yeah.
And this was years and years and years ago. And to see, like, even to be on a podcast talking about this, to
Yeah.
have over 5,000 followers, to know that my work's going worldwide, and I'm just like, fuck, I'm like, I did it. And like my mom, like me, like, you know, my sister, she has like her own like little mobile liquor business thing is super cool.
Yeah.
But it's crazy because, like, she has her own thing over there in Oregon. But for me to have a very successful business doing this, and I'm just like, this is crazy. And like to know the people that I can go
Yeah.
ahead and call. If I want to, I can go ahead and call Jammer and be like, hey, I'm thinking about changing up your mask.
Yeah.
Hear me out. For me to go ahead and be able to even just say that I can talk to Jammer. And like,
I know.
yeah, and to go ahead and just talk to like even like random guy Kevin, like, hey, do you have a plugin for this person? I need to go ahead and get in contact with them. To talk to EA, to talk to SS, to talk to Jackal Tactical, to talk to all these crazy people, MSE, to full auto only, full auto airsoft, like to see all these people I've done business with, who's has my work and everything. People see painted masks, like, did Rogue do that?
Yep.
And I even remember when I was getting into airsoft, and I'm an airsoft player. I haven't played since August of last year because of my knee shit.
Yeah.
That I had all sorts of fucking call signs because people have call signs and all
Yeah.
this
Oh,
other
yeah.
shit. At one point in time, I was Great White Buffalo. At one point in time, I was Rico. At
Oh,
one point in
shit.
time, dude, I had so many different names because I just didn't have like an identity. I don't want to be
Yeah.
someone who goes like, Reaper Slayer Killer 77. I don't want some name like that and to not live up to Reaper Slayer 77. No, like I'm
Right.
going by. And the funny part is that when I came up with Rogue Customs, the only reason why I came up with Rogue Customs was because because I lived in the Rogue Valley in Oregon.
Oh, shit.
I kid you not. Before I changed my name, I was Gorilla Gang Customs because I was a part of a team called Gorilla Gang
Oh,
back in
shit.
the day. And
Yeah.
then before that, I was 6 Mil Customs because I was a part of the 6 millimeter Mafia out there in the
Nice.
road in Southern Oregon. So it was the funniest shit seeing how everything was and like how I changed my thing 3 times. I'm like, fuck, I'm sticking with Rogue Customs. I like it because I'm thinking like Rogue One, Star Wars type of thing. Like I like
Right.
it. And then now everybody's Rogue. What's up, Rogue? I'm like, I guess that's my fucking name. So it's on my
That's it,
profile. I'm like,
buddy.
call me Rogue. And so
Yep.
it's the craziest thing. So then when people call me by my first name, which is Herman, hey Herman, I'm
Yeah.
like, and the people are like, wait, what's your name? I'm like, Herman. And I'm like, they're like, we're gonna stick with Rogue. Fuck that. I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. Don't even worry. And it's funny because
Oh,
I get to
yeah.
go out. I message Guy and everything like that. And they'll be like, oh, hey, what's up, Herman? I'm like, oh, this and that. And so like, I'm working on a deal with Dye, so then that way I can try to dip into the Dye paintball community.
Oh, nice.
And that'll be like the holy trifecta. So that's been like always
Right.
in the works. I'm always talking to them and everything like that, trying to show like, look what I can do with your Dye mask. We don't have to be
Yeah.
subject to just like painting that stuff. And your
Yeah.
guys' and their stuff is what 250 FPS for paintballs.
Yep.
Our shit is hitting at 350, 400 FPS, and my mask perfectly fine.
No shit. Oh, paintballs are
Mhm.
soft compared to,
Yeah,
400 FPS, BBs.
yeah, and I mean I know that like SS for instance they run their feel at 400 FPS. So I'm like,
Yeah.
my mask I thought it was 350 the whole time. Go
Right.
out there's 400. I'm like, and it was just like an eye-opening moment. Like, holy shit, my master was sending 400 FPS shots.
That's
And I'm
crazy,
like
bro.
talking to people, and they're like coming up and having me sign their mask that I painted for them. And I'm like, how is it holding up? Because I want feedback. That was my number one
Right.
thing. I'm like, how is it holding up? How is it doing? Like, does it need touch ups? I don't mind doing touch ups for you.
Yeah.
You bought a Gen 2 mask that I would be happy. No, dude, no, it's perfect. I'm like
Now, how
looking at
many?
it. I'm like,
Now,
what's that?
what protects it? The clear coat? Is that what it is?
So yeah, so it's not only just the clear coat, but between generations, I find out different ways I can go ahead and prep my mask even better to grab onto my primer.
Oh,
So I try to go ahead and figure it out. And so I spent $500-$600 on material alone, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work, throwing
oh
away rattle
shit.
cans, things like that, trying to figure out stuff. And I finally
Yeah.
figured out the right primer, what chemical to go ahead. I've like found like the secret sauce to go
Yeah.
ahead and make sure my stuff withholds. I know the FPS range is like, hey, what's your FPS range? Okay, cool. I'll go ahead and throw on an extra layer for you. I'll go ahead and
Holy
throw on an
shit.
extra layer of clear coat. And now when I'm picking brains overseas, like, hey, Mr. Netherlands, how much FPS you guys shooting over there? Oh,
Right.
anywhere from this to this. I'm like, compared to us, yeah, we're like,
Right.
yeah, we're hardcore over here in the States. And next thing you know, someone in Canada's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we're shooting 600 FPS. Yeah, yo, I don't know
Right.
about that. And
Fucking
just to go
BB
ahead and,
shattering and shit.
oh, dude, like, and it's one of those things where I describe to people, I'm like, look, this is an airbrush job. It's kind of like getting a car paint job. The
Yeah.
more miles you put on your car, the more rock chips you're gonna have in that damn thing when you
Yeah.
drive and you travel. But it's gonna be, you're gonna remember that rock chip, or dang, I remember when my ex girlfriend slashed my tire over here and all this stuff. And I tell them like it's gonna give it character, but I'll do touch ups if I can. But ultimately, once it starts shipping and breaking, like I see some people grab my mask. There's this guy and he goes by Bubbles, and I did bubbles all over his mask.
Oh,
And it was
nice.
the weirdest thing, and I wanted to mess with him. If I had more time, I would have done the Powder Puff Girl bubbles.
Oh shit.
That would have been funny because
That'd
I
be
even
cool.
have I have the invisible ink. Like when it goes ahead and comes to the fluorescence, so if you hit it with black light, it'll pop up.
Oh damn.
I I wanted to do it so bad, I didn't have time to, and that was before I got
Oh,
my
that's
Cricut
cool.
to cut my vinyls. So I would have had to call Midwest and be like, "Hey, can you go ahead and make
Yeah.
bubbles?" And this is going to go ahead and cost me X amount of money. Then I have to pay
Right.
shipping to go ahead and do it and get it over here. And it was a whole process. But now to see where I've gone, to see all the colors I have, and I'm even getting ready to, and it's my goal to have it done. I plan on bringing out like 5 or 6 custom one of one masks that I'm going to be releasing over there at EA Fest that
Nice.
people can go ahead and buy. And they're not going to be like nothing else I have ever done. They're going to come in super badass bundles, about $350 is kind of what I'm aiming to go ahead and get them at. And then to top it off, I'm looking into bigger particle sizes, bigger than I can even put out my airbrush. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do it by hand. So it's gonna be
Oh
really
shit.
cool. Yeah, so I'm challenging myself, and I got so bored the first time I got injured back in September. I
Yeah.
ripped apart the front of my car, and I'm like I don't like my colors. Fuck this thing, because I have a
Oh
OD
shit.
green Grand Cherokee, and I'm like I want to make it pop. So I
Oh
ripped it
shit.
apart. I
Okay.
painted the rings. I debadged it completely because I had all the tools in my work van from Safelight. So I'm over
Yeah.
here debadging it. My wife's like, "Can you do mine?" I'm like, "Sure." And so I'm like debadging hers at the same time, and I'm
Oh
because I
shit.
hate the color. I hate chrome. I hate chrome so much. I don't know why. And and so I blackened all of her stuff. I'm like, "Do you want pearl black?" She's like, "Yeah." So I pearl blacked all of her stuff, and she's the
Oh,
only
that's
Jeep out
cool.
here that has pearl black stuff all over her car. I'm the only Jeep out here that's not only OD green, but I have like orangish bronze tires or
Oh,
rims that I went ahead
nice.
and I
Yeah.
painted. All my badges are all bronze and everything like that. So people are like, I'll overhear people like when I'm in restaurants talk like, "Look at that Jeep out there!" Like, imagine
Oh,
how
that's
much money
cool,
he
dude.
painted to go ahead and like paint their
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm like, ah,
Bitch, I
losers.
did
Or
it myself.
oh, I actually have customers coming up where they're actually going to drive their car to my house, and I have to debadge the whole damn thing. And they saw me at a gas station, and they even pulled in off the road and followed me. They're like, "Hey, who painted your stuff?" I'm like,
Oh
"Oh, so and
wow.
so." They're like, "Do you have like a business and everything?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I have this little tiny card called Tappy. So if you go ahead and you tap someone's phone with it, or
Oh
if they
yeah.
scan the QR code, it pulls up my shit. And they're like, "My
Yeah,
gosh, go ahead
yeah.
and give me a follow, shoot me a DM." And so people are coming here. They want me to do the interior. I even did the interior of my car. I got
Oh
so bored.
shit.
I did a bronze black multicam on the
Yeah.
inside of my car to go ahead and complement the outside because I got bored.
Do you have
Yeah,
that on your Instagram?
I
Because
I haven't because then I know fuckers are gonna be like, "Hey, so I got a dash, right?
and you're
Hear
already
me out."
backed up on
It's not.
this
It's
mass
not
thing.
even that I'm backed up. I just don't know what I would charge for it. So I'm like, like I don't know how to gauge it because I don't want to undersell myself, but then I don't want
Right.
to overcharge somebody, but I want to charge what it's worth. And I don't know
Yeah.
how to gauge different things, but I haven't done that. But even as a birthday gift, or I think it was Christmas. No, it was a Christmas gift from my mother-in-law. She hated her desk being completely black. I'm like, fuck it, I'll paint it for you. I don't care. I set 2 weeks aside just for her desk, and me and my wife we prepped the whole entire thing. I spent 16 to 20 hours on her desk alone, laying down stencils, clear coating, and I did a gorgeous galaxy that's all
Oh
fluorescent.
shit.
So she has a black light up above. So as she turns it on, it black light lights up the whole entire
Oh
thing.
my
I did
god.
Star Wars craziness and everything because I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. So I went
Yeah.
ahead and I put like the dark side on one side. I did, the rebellion on the other side. And I did this whole entire like battlefield looking galaxy shit over it. And now I want to redo it because I know new techniques. I'm like,
Oh
can I
my
redo your
god,
desk?
dude.
And
That's
we plan on.
crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I painted. Here, let me go ahead and go grab it real quick. I did something for my wife because I'm like, the best part about me doing the airbrushing stuff is the fact that I can use it as birthday presents. So I'm like, hee hee, okay, cool. Like,
Yeah. No
here, I'll do
shit.
this. And that, and then and it's more sentimental than going ahead and buying, a bag or a shirt or whatever it is that everybody else has. But
Right.
like my wife's controller,
Oh, hell yeah. Look at
I,
that.
w- I went ahead and I did that. But then she fucking loves Baby Groot, which is the most annoying shit ever.
What is it?
But Baby
Oh,
Groot,
yeah, yeah. Oh,
yeah, and then
that's cool, dude.
and then I did her call sign right there underneath, and she
Yeah.
wanted the multicam and she wanted these colors on her controller.
That is fucking sweet.
Yeah, so I was able to
Damn.
do that. And
Okay.
people are like, how long does it take you? I'm like, you really want to know how long it took me to do that controller? Yeah, I'm like, the longest part was learning how to tear it down. Besides that, very nice and easy. Well, how
Yeah.
long? I'm like, probably about an hour worth of work in it.
Yeah.
They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm
Damn,
about an
that's
hour.
fucking fast.
Oh, dude, and then on
You're
top of
getting
that, that's not
good,
even.
bro. Holy
Mhm.
shit.
There's a lot of techniques that I have learned and that I've taught myself, and I've done different things with, and I'm just like, it's just been un unbelievable to go ahead and see. And I'll show you something that's behind the scenes completely, that 100% top secret. Like the person doesn't know about it, and the person has over 1 million followers.
Holy shit.
And is a very figurative person.
Okay.
Yes, that I'm doing a very top secret, like what is it, thing for.
Gotcha.
And it's unbelievable that people are now hitting me up and want to do different things, and to network the way I have, and to grow the way I have, and to make sure that I'm like setting myself up with success. And
Yeah.
I even went ahead and I broke down my E4 the other day. I'm like, fuck it, I want to go ahead, I'm gonna paint my E4. I'm like, I need to go ahead and do something for myself, even though I can't play with it right now. I'm like, I went because I saw that KWA was going out there. I'm like, I want to blow their fucking mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, watch what I do with your
That's
stuff.
cool.
Oh yeah, it's been unbelievable. And I've been teaching myself how to distress. That's been my number one thing. I want to learn how to weather, how to distress.
Oh,
And with
okay.
my brother-in-law, he's visiting right now. It's so fucking awesome to go ahead and see what he can do, because the mask that got done, that ghost mask, I told him like, look, hey, I know you're a fucking nerd. He's like, okay, I'm listening. I'm like, I know you worked at GameStop for 15 years. Okay. I'm like, how would you want to go ahead and have a part in Ghost's mask? He's like, the Ghost? I'm like, the Ghost from 2019. He's like, fuck yeah, man. I'm like, okay, cool. He hand painted all of that. I laid down all the stencils. I laid down a lot of the different things, and I told him like, I got a business idea for you. Hear me out. You can go ahead and sleep on it. Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
And we thought about, or I've come up with the idea that I want to release a line on my website that's going to be one of one custom stuff, where I prep it and he hand paints it.
Yeah.
They're going to be premium products, to where it's going to go ahead and be what's in his head. Because right now, I don't know why, but Just Oil and Gear Tech Tactical have been huge inspirations for me, because I always love challenging myself. I go onto the Cerakote website and I'll go ahead and just be
Oh,
looking through
yeah.
the gallery for the next inspiration. Or I go on to, Just Oil's things, and I see all the beautiful futuristic shit that he does, and how he
Holy
does it, and
shit.
he makes
Yeah.
his cosplay stuff. And I'm like, dude, that looks like District 9, like Chappie
Yeah.
vibe. And then
Yeah.
next thing you know, I'm looking at his kit he made, and he's like, oh, it tastes like fucking prongs. And I'm like watching this video the other, I'm like, wait, what? And he made the character off of, District 9. I'm like, holy shit. And he's over here getting eating fucking crickets at like the Comic-Con event that he went to. He's like, oh yeah, it tastes like a cron. He's like showing us like little cron button he had right here.
Oh my God, that's funny.
And I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, cool. And so with my brother-in-law being here, he's been able to teach me a lot of stuff. He's able to teach me like the depth and how to
Yeah.
water stuff down, distress. And so,
Damn,
and then
that's
the best
cool.
part about it is that with him showing that, I'm teaching him how to airbrush, because he doesn't know how to airbrush.
Gotcha.
And so it's that beautiful hand in hand learning thing. So soon
Yeah.
enough here, I want to do it to where we're releasing crazy, amazing, beautiful designs where people will have one of one customs, whether they are showpieces or whether you go out there. And that's kind of where my mindset's at, and how can I go ahead and pair this with that,
Well,
and
shit, man, you're
comparing
so busy
shoes. Yeah.
now, man. I gotta, cause I was gonna ask you to do a mask with our thing on it, but I mean that's
Yeah,
a
that
pretty
no
simple
issue.
design.
Yeah,
But
but here's the thing though, is that where my mind goes, you're gonna give me a fucking simple design, say, put your twist on it.
Yep.
and I'm gonna overcomplicate the shit out of it, and you're gonna be
I
like,
don't care.
"Oh, dude, it's gonna be the funniest shit," because I'll be like, "Okay, cool, yeah, yeah." People will give me a budget, right? I'm like, "Yeah, don't even worry about it. I got it." And then next thing you know, I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like I'll see like things like, "Okay, cool. I know I charge extra money for this color, but fuck it, whatever." And I'll go ahead and like, I'm like, "Oh my god, what about doing this?" And then next thing I'm teaching myself different designs, different tactics, different things. And next thing you know, it's like I'm setting off like a $300-400 mask that someone paid $120 for. I'm like,
Oh my god.
oh, and it's not even about the fact that it's the money that I lost, but
Well,
the fact
right.
that it's a walking billboard out there to show people
Sure.
this is what I can do. And then I'm telling them, hey, listen. They're like, what? I'm like, how much did you buy that mask for? Oh, I paid you 120. I'm like, no, you bought it for 200. 200, got it. I'm like, okay. I don't want another person approaching me saying
Yeah.
120. No, I don't. I don't want that
One
shit.
ten? What?
Yeah, like, hey, I heard from my buddy over here. He told me to go ahead and tell you, bruh, as a secret code. No, and
Oh, that's
it's
funny.
crazy. It's unbelievable to see the path that's kind of opened up, to see how many people are excited to meet me, or people that like see their mass and everything like that. That's like their
Well, what was your
definition. And even for
what?
honey badger,
Oh yeah, that's how I've heard your name, Rogue
yeah,
Customs, like since I started these podcasts, and I'm like, man, I got to talk to this dude. So the last, I just talked to Honey Badger,
yeah,
and he when the
I,
how you
yeah,
turn your camera on, how
yeah,
you turn your camera,
yeah,
when he turned his on, he had it on. I was like, whoa, and uh,
yeah,
and I was like, let me guess, Rogue Customs. He's like, yeah. I said, oh my god, this thing is awesome.
dude. I'll funny story about that one. I feel bad. I'm the one that took 4 months. There's a reason why there was a 4 month project. It was fucking me. Because I'm looking at this thing and I'm telling him, I'm like, look, you can't put a fucking honey badger on this goddamn mask. Why? Vent holes. Vent hole. And so he's like, oh, like, try. And I'm like, I ended up getting a file, found it. I'm like, this is going to look like shit. He's like, okay. I'm like, okay, I'll try it. I tried it out the first time. I was so pissed with how it looked. But because I told him that it wasn't going to fucking look good, and I
Yep.
sent him a picture, and he's forcing himself to like it. I know he is. He's such a nice fucking guy. He's like,
Yeah, he is a good dude.
yeah, I like it. He's like, what do you think about it? I sent him one thing and one thing only. One emoji. It was a puke face emoji. He's like, no, no, I like it. I'm like, stop fucking lying to yourself. I don't
Oh
like it.
shit.
I'm like, I think there's like another thing I can go ahead and do. So I'm like, as much as I hate doing this, I'm redoing it. He's like, oh no, no, it's fine. I'm like, I'm redoing it, no extra cost. I know what I can go ahead and do, and I know how to execute this thing. And this is my name going out there. I'm like,
Mm.
because people are gonna go ahead and see it. If someone sees like, you got a Gen 1 mask? I thought he's on Gen 4s. I don't want that. I want people to go ahead and be like,
Right.
I want someone to have a Gen 1 mask, and then someone to meet them with a Gen 4 mask and be like, holy shit, this is the
I
same
want the
guy.
upgrade. Yep.
Oh, it's crazy to go ahead and see it and to know that people are out there. Like, God, I think I might even have one down here. Oh yeah, I have my personal. This is bad. Don't judge me. Okay, this is what I thought was cool. Okay, this was my Gen 1 mask, and I need to redo it. Okay, I'm throwing this context out there. This was before I had known how to make stencils. This is when I was hand doing everything and hand cutting everything and
Yeah,
drawing
dude.
things out.
There's your
But
beginnings.
yeah,
Judgment coming. Judgment. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
Dude, it's fucking
yeah,
great. What are you talking about? I mean,
dude, I hate
you're
it.
gonna be the most, you're gonna be the most critical. You're gonna be your worst critic. That's how it is.
Oh yeah,
That's just you can't unsee the like all the defects because you're right there in it. But
yep,
to
yep.
me, that looks fucking badass.
Oh, dude, I see so many shit wrong. Like even one of the like I think it's on this side right here. Yeah, I learned how the way I look at it is I would rather break my shit than break someone else's shit.
Yeah,
That's what I always go by. The top little strap thing that's right here, I
yeah.
fucking like I snapped off. I snapped it off because I put too much pressure on it, and I
Oh,
didn't know what tool to get underneath. Put too much pressure. It's plastic, and I snapped it off, and I was like hanging off of one fucking leg, and I'm like, this sucks, and it pisses me off. And I'm like looking at it, I'm like, damn, but it has just so many memories, and it's cool to see
yeah.
where I'm going, like where I'm at now, and where I've
Absolutely.
gone, and it's just unbelievable to see all the people that have now, it's almost like their identities. You know,
Yeah.
everybody has a generic dye mask, or, you know, the limited edition one. You buy the first limited edition, well, someone's going to like that. And they can go ahead and go onto Dye website or their local dealer and go buy that same exact mask. You are no longer original.
Oh, right.
And it's the worst thing, because some people, they love their mask, but then it's like, shit, someone so and so went ahead and bought the mask, and God damn it, he's a cheater. And then they're gonna think I'm cheating, and, you know, like, I was the one with this mask.
Yep.
Damn it. And it's so cool to go ahead and see all these people, like, Call Sign Blue. She was the very first person to go ahead and do the Black Eyes Dye I5. Very first
Okay.
person to do it. And she does so many videos. She goes out and plays with her mask so much. Zero damage to it. And it's like a Gen
Yeah.
2 mask or Gen 3. And everybody wants it. She started a trend. People will start trends, and then all these people follow because they
Right.
don't know how to be original, but I don't mind it at all. Because then I can go ahead, because then the one tweak I thought about for that Gen 1, I'm like, oh, cool, I can finally redo it. I have another go, and now I can go ahead and do that. I'm like, oh my God, it looks so much better.
Oh, that's
And,
cool.
and it's so cool to go ahead and do that. And I mean,
Is
even
that
with
your
Blue,
first, that mask you just showed? Is that your
mhm,
first ever airsoft equipment that you painted? What
yep,
was your, oh, okay. That was the first thing
yep.
for airsoft that you painted. Okay.
So that one, when I got back into it, when I
Like
was
what
back
was
in
the
Oregon,
what got you into like so you're drawing, you're sketching, and
mhm, mhm.
then you started playing airsoft, I'm assuming,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
as a teenager or something, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm going to custom paint this thing."
Hmm. It was an MK18. Actually, no, it started out as a honey badger, and that's funny. Honey badger goes
Funny.
straight. But yeah, but with honey badger, it was a Aries honey badger that the guy had gotten, and it was my buddy. He was like our team leader. His name's Hammer. He was out there. I remember I was on a 6 mil mafia with him and even Gorilla Gang, and he wanted me to paint flames on the side of it. I'm like, yeah, I can do it. Just kind of bullshitting out my head. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And I'm over here buying the clear coats from like Walmart and shit that are not gonna hold up well. But I'm like,
Oh shit.
I didn't know about primer. I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna go ahead and
Yeah.
kind of paint it white with this white right here. I didn't know about any of this stuff. I didn't know about disinfecting surfaces. I didn't know about how to prep things properly. No idea. And I hand painted with acrylic paints. This one, I drew it out pencil, and then I hand painted it on.
Oh
And I'm like,
shit.
it's not bad, but fuck it. And then I went to my very first Milsim in Oregon. Someone loved that gun so much, he traded Hammer, like his high end gun, but we'll put it over the top was my paint job. I'm like, what? So I'm like,
Oh
okay.
my
And then I
god.
painted my gun. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I went out there and people started liking it. But back then, Instagram wasn't what it is.
Right.
And so it was just so hard for me to gain traction going to these Milsim, and
Yeah.
these Milsim boys, I'll paint it myself, I'll rattle cannon, smash it into a wall, and yeah. And I'm like, fuck you guys, okay, whatever. And it was one of those things where I slowly kind of got into it, and I discovered the airbrush and the compressor. I didn't know, about seals. I didn't know about mixturing, reducing things. I had no idea about any of this. So
Yeah.
when I got back into this in November of 2020, oh my God, the game 100% changed. I typed in airbrush paint online because I'm like, fuck it, the internet's more reliable now. Why not?
Sure.
And it was crazy to go ahead and see this one place called, or this one brand, Createx pop up. Createx. I'm like, the fuck is Createx? I'm like looking up stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, cool. Fuck it. Why not? And I bought it. I'm like, dude, this is cool. And then I'm like, and then I saw that they had fluorescent colors. I'm like, oh my God, black. Like, imagine someone goes in there. I'm over here coming up with scenarios in my fucking head
Yeah.
of how people can do it, which is not going to happen. But I'm like, what if
Yeah.
there's a
What if?
black light on a field and they go in there, gun?
Dude, that'd be the shit, bro.
And I've done so many things. Like if you were to, when we like, I don't know if you're able to look at it, but on my Instagram, I have a cherry blossom gun. Very first time I ever distressed a gun. Very first time I ever did that type of cherry blossom.
We're gonna pull it
And
up right now.
oh, here's the beautiful part. I'll let you go ahead and go all the way to the end slide. I think it should be like the third or fourth one. It's gonna be a cherry blossom one, baby blue background, very pronounced. Damn, you're over here talking about like different things and stuff, and you're over here about to pull up a secondary image. This is wild. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it's gonna be
I'm gonna
right
share
above.
the screen. Hold on,
Okay, it's
and
gonna
then
be
you'll be
right
able
up.
to see
It's
it
gonna be
too.
before Spooky. Okay.
So you might have to click on
Oh,
watch
okay.
stream
Okay.
to be able to
Clicking
see it.
on watching.
You
Okay,
see
I'm
it?
seeing it. Yep.
Okay,
Scroll
cool.
all the way back up. All the way back up.
All the
All
way
the way
up.
back up.
All right.
It's that one right there, the pink one.
This one.
Yep, that one. Yeah.
Look at that, bro.
Yeah.
Damn,
That
that's
one's
cool.
that's one of my most liked ones I've ever gotten, and it reached over 20,000 people.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Now go ahead and go on to the next slide of it.
Okay.
So on the bottom, yeah, there you go. And then so just keep on clicking over. It's gonna go ahead and get crazy. I got gorgeous pictures of it and like the distress work, everything I was able to do. That was my first time ever distressing.
So how do you do that? What
I
do you sand
use
it?
no. I wish. I use a sponge and I
Oh
dry
wow.
sponge it. Yeah, wait for the next one. The next slide is gonna be money. I think that's. Oh, never mind. Damn it. I forget which slide is what. Don't worry, it's gonna be towards the end. There you go.
Woo!
Yep, it's fluorescent.
Damn, dude.
I forgot I had mixed the color with my normal pink with my fluorescent pink. I forgot at one point in time I mixed it together.
Yeah.
So it's completely fluorescent. So no matter what shade I shift my pink to, it's all fluorescent pink. I completely forgot about it. So the guy got a bonus in his gun.
Oh shit.
Yeah, because I would have charged someone extra to go ahead and put on fluorescent pink.
Right.
But that was my first time going ahead and doing the distress work, and it was a lot of
Oh my
sponging.
god.
I saw a video on YouTube like how to weather slash distress, and this guy's over here doing like this post-apocalyptic build, and he's using rattle cans and this and that. I'm like, okay, well, I want to go ahead and oh, did the stream in?
Oh yeah, yeah. I turned it off.
Oh, okay. I'm like, oh
Oh
god,
no, no, you're
this
good.
stream
You're
has
good.
ended.
That was
Cricket
me.
noises. Yeah, no, but it was really cool to go ahead and like learn that different texturing technique and to challenge myself and push myself to a very uncomfortable situation. Once I did that gun,
Yeah.
I was hooked. And I kid you not, it was one of those where I'm like, you know what else can I do it on? I did it on the I should have had you look at it, or I don't think I posted it.
I can pull it
I
back
haven't. I
up.
don't think I posted it yet.
Oh, okay.
But I did it on a Slaughter Odin, and it's this. I don't know if you could see it, but it should be orange. I don't think I posted it yet,
Okay.
but everybody got to see it during the live. And I did this crazy futuristic, distressed Odin. Here, can I send you a picture on here, like on Instagram? You can pull it up.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, here. Let me go ahead and. Are you still there? I don't know if this works or not.
Yeah, I got the Instagram pulled up, and I got our chat pulled up.
Okay, cool.
So it'll come up right.
Here,
Send
are
it.
you showing the screen real quick or no?
Not yet.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you that little secret
Oh,
real
okay.
fast, and you're gonna lose your shit. So do not. Here, actually, I'll send this one after I send you the Odin. Actually, so then you can go
Yeah,
ahead and look
send
at
me
the
the Odin
Odin,
first.
show it on screen and everything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, that's the beauty of this being recorded as well. I can cut out shit. I can edit stuff if
Yeah.
something does come up. Where we need to.
All right, and they're sending right now.
Yeah, buddy. There we go. Just three of them. Okay. Oh my God, that's fucking cool. All right,
Yeah,
let's
so
see
that's the
here.
first time I've ever done the Odin itself like that. I wanted to go with a futuristic style theme with it, and I absolutely loved how that one went ahead and came out.
That's
That
freaking
that
awesome, dude.
the first person I sent that to when I completed it, I sent it over to Slaughter. His
Yeah.
first message back to me is like, "Can I buy that?" I'm like, "You know better. It's for my 5K giveaway. I'm sorry, but I can recreate it if you
Oh,
want." And
that's cool.
so it was one of those where I had to take myself out of the comfort zone because you start to think like, "Oh, I think I did too much. No, I think I did too little," and you don't ever want to go ahead and overdo it. I've come to learn. And
Right.
the best part about that one is my mother-in-law. I told her free artistic reign. Here's your stencils. Have at it, and she laid it all down.
Oh, wow. That's crazy,
Mm-hmm.
bro. And
Yep.
it looks fucking awesome.
That let me put it this way. I plan on going ahead and bringing out a couple masks with that sort of theme on it. Not the slaughter portion itself, but I want to do that crazy chappy
Yep.
look and just like futuristic and everything. That's what I'm aiming for. And so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm coming down there with heat, as I'm saying. All right,
Dude,
now
that
I'm gonna go ahead and send you that secret.
all right, hold on. Let me stop sharing the screen here.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. So pretty much, it's for a very high end person
Yep.
that's going out there to SS for the Call of Duty events.
I'm going
Female.
there.
You are?
Yeah, so I actually get to meet Jammer finally because I've invited him on the podcast when I
Yeah.
first started following him. And so I haven't been able to get him on here yet, but hopefully one day. But yeah,
Right
I get
now,
to meet
Jamer's
him
an
when I go out
incredible
there.
dude.
Yeah.
So the cool part about this, the image you're seeing right now,
Yeah.
is he wanted to surprise the female that's going out there with
Gotcha.
a mask. And this person or that thing that you're seeing right there, that
Uh-huh.
image, is one of her very favorite characters from an anime.
Oh shit.
And so, dude, if that's just the base colors, that's not even close to being done. That mask alone is nowhere near being done. It's probably 15% completed, 30.
That looks
Yeah.
Dude, that looks crazy. How good
Yeah.
that is.
And the best part is the pink on it's fluorescent.
Oh, fuck yeah. That
And so
is so
I
cool.
wanted, oh, you should see what I plan on doing. Like, so on the masks, I'll go ahead and I'll explain kind of what I'm doing because a lot of people won't know exactly whose it is or who's it going for.
Right.
But I'm not going to say what I'm mounting to it. I'll show you like ending pictures. But like on the brim, kind of where her forehead is,
Yeah.
I plan on doing a paint splatter throughout that because her favorite colors is purple and teal.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna do a paint splatter on there, but then I'm also even gonna go ahead and use my, that thermal color. How I told you I had the mood ring color.
Yeah.
I'll be throwing that on it to give it like oil spill splatter also on top.
Oh, shit.
And and then if that's not enough, I plan on even doing it to where let me see if I. Oh yeah, here it is. This color right here, it's called Torella. Gorgeous color. I plan on putting that on the rest of the mask.
Oh my god, that's cool.
I do some wicked shit over here.
That's badass, bro. Hey,
Yeah,
listen,
like
for
some
all
of
you people
these.
that are listening or watching this, you can't see it right now. Only I get to see it. Damn, I feel special.
Dude, oh look, and then I'll send you Zuka's mask because he sent me a lot of pictures of it.
Yeah.
So I sent you another pistol that has a chameleon color, but that mask right there, that's my Gen 2 mask,
Oh
and
shit.
it has one little tiny chip at the very tippy top, right there where the little die emblem would go ahead and be at.
Yeah.
But it's because he scared the shit out of a sniper with 500 FPS.
Oh damn.
He point blank them, walked right up on the sniper, and the dude jump shot. Like he fucking like got scared and shot. And he has
Oh,
one little
that's
tiny
crazy.
nick, and that's it. That's the only thing that's wrong with it.
That thing is
Or
badass, bro. Is
oh
that
yeah, and then
smoke like coming out the
yep,
back? Yeah, that's
yep.
cool as shit, bro.
And then here's another one. I just went ahead and did it for my buddy Pumbaa,
That is cool too. That's
and it
that.
has a very subtle smile for the Joker.
Yeah, I can see that built in there, weaved in there. That's freaking cool.
And then this one is my I call it my Mona Lisa for now because I tend to always outdo myself. But this right now is my Mona Lisa. This is like the top of the top that took me hours upon hours to go ahead and do.
Whoa. Now, can I show
Yeah.
this one?
Oh yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Let me
Yeah,
show this
everybody
one on
knows
the
about that
screen.
one.
That one's
It's just
cool, bro.
Instagram is so finicky now with guns and everything. I don't
Oh,
it's
I
getting
know.
you know kicked off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fucking cool, bro.
yeah, that
Yeah, that
one.
design, that had to take forever.
Oh, dude, it's hours upon hours upon hours.
Now, when you do a project like that, okay, when
Yeah.
it's going to take, it's going to take a while. How do you break? Do you do it in sections? Like, how do you get
So
the all those lines, so consistent, but not, I guess, throughout the whole
yeah,
thing?
yeah, yeah. So the funny part is, I always like to go ahead and mess with people. I'm like, so what color do you think is the first one? And then people were like, oh, like for instance, what color do you think is the first one that I had to put down?
Blue.
Nope,
No.
orange.
Oh, wow.
So you have to, with airbrushing or painting in general,
Uh
or
huh.
actually mainly airbrushing, you have to work backwards. So you have to do it to where when you are putting this stuff in there, I have to 100% work backwards and almost completely opposite flip how I'm doing things. How am I going to go ahead and put this on here? How am I going to execute? So I have to layer down all of that orange first, and then I'm able to go ahead and kind of proceed forward.
Huh.
Yeah, and so with that, I'll work in sections. So like for instance, I went ahead and I would rather fuck up on the smallest thing, so I started with the suppressor. I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and see how it looks on the
Okay.
suppressor. I wrapped it on there with orange and everything like that. Hit it with my different blues. And the cool part about it is that those blues are iridescent blues. So when you shift the gun, it's going to go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
The main darker blue will shift to purple, and then the teal will shift to gold.
Dude, that's so cool.
And
It's
so I worked on the
amazing.
suppressor first. Yeah. And then
Now,
I sectioned out the rail.
what you're talking about with the iridescent kind of look or whatever, when the light
Yeah.
hits it a different way, does it matter, or does more coats of clear coat, like a thicker clear coat, affect that effect, I guess?
No. So the crazy
Okay.
part about that, right, is the clear coat, depending on which kind of stuff you have, like, let me go ahead and show you this one. These ones are pretty fucking wild. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Do I need to
So this
stop
was the
sharing the
first
screen right
time.
now?
Oh no, 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 no. This is
Okay,
this is
okay,
old. This is old,
okay,
old, old, old.
okay.
But this one is one of my this is my very first time ever messing around with what's called holographic. And so the holographic paint is just a completely different monster because you don't know how it's going to react. You don't know what it's going to go ahead and do, how it's going to turn out. And it looks really good when you first kind of like lay it down and you put it down. You're like, okay, I don't mind it, sort of a deal. And let me see, where the fuck is this goddamn video? This is like my biggest
I'm
downfall.
gonna
It's like,
tell you. I know this is off topic, but
yeah,
your Instagram. I'm scrolling through, and I'm looking at all your stuff and whatever, and I'm like, and I see this video. You have quite a few videos on there, short videos,
yeah,
and I see
yeah,
this video. You're testing out. This is like January of last year. You're
yeah,
testing out this gun.
yeah,
You got it hooked up to your computer with all this, all the specs and shit, whatever. So you put it on
yeah.
semi, and you're like, click, click, you're like, psst, psst. You're like, okay, yeah. And then you put it on full auto. It's like, brr, brr. You're like, you were like, oh, in the camera, and you're like, no, oh no, oh no. You were like, we're turning this to semi only.
Yeah.
It was the
Um,
funniest shit, bro. It was like 55 RPS.
Oh, oh, no, 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 no. So you think that one's funny? Here, let me go ahead and hop back over to your screen. So go back onto my page. You're gonna lose your shit over this other one. Okay, so go down, keep on scrolling. I'm looking at your screen. Keep on going, keep on going. I'll tell you when to stop.
All right.
Stop, 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 stop. Go back up a little bit. Go back up a little bit more. One more time. Okay, top right there, center, where you see me with the green, the dark green. Yes, that one. Click on it. I'll go ahead and I'll keep on looking for this one video.
All right, we need to hear the sound. Let me turn this up.
Yeah,
Without actually telling me you guys how speaky is, I'll go first. Check this out. They come with super awesome shin guards, right? So guess what? If you go ahead and you have 18-inch calves, you can't get them up your leg to your knee. Yeah, so awesome. Thank you. And then to top it off,
Oh shit!
come with an extra pocket in the back. Jeez. You can store all your extra ammo inside of here. Awesome. Thanks, BTV. All right.
I spent $150 fucking dollars on those goddamn pants just to go ahead and be disappointed. Yeah, that one was a tough one.
When that first made that sound, bro, I for real thought it was the shin guard thing, like the strap on the shin guard.
Dude, no, so I kid you not. So I remember I am trying to convince my wife. I love my wife so much. She is telling me, babe, I love you, but those aren't built for men. Okay, I'm like, no, this not. I was like, obviously they don't work. I'm like, babe, it's fine. I can maybe slide on my shin. I'm trying to convince myself that these are for me. And she's like, babe, I love you. Can't fucking wear those. I'm like, yes, I can. So we're like, she's trying to tell me it, but I don't want to fucking hear the truth. I'm so pissed.
Oh,
and then I am laughing my ass off when I go ahead. I'm squatting down, right? And then I pulled down the shin like guards, as I go ahead and I call them, and I squatted, and a little hole ripped right on my ass. I'm like, and I'm like looking like I'm fingering myself. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, look, I need to make a video. I need to send these back. I'm like, you're right. I'm wrong. And so what ends up happening is, so as we're shooting that is 110% genuine. That look on my face was, I felt all the air go right up my whole entire butt crack.
Oh,
and I am like, oh my god. I was pissed because I fucking blew my ass out. And the funny part was I had posted that, dude. And I tagged Speed QB and Sapo, because me and Sapo would talk off and on, and he's over here talking to me like, what happened? This and that, and I'm telling him like, yo, these aren't. If you guys need a thick model, let me know, because this ain't made for big dudes. This and that. He's over here trying to tell me how the new generations and blah 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 blah. And
you gonna join Airsoft Alphonse with the thick crew?
Oh, dude, something like, dude, it was the funniest thing. And I mean, God, just seeing that shit, I was just like, fuck. And they ended up refunding me all the money.
I love that you put it on your Instagram, and the end is classic, bro. Yeah, you got this extra pocket bag here.
Oh, dude, the best part about that was I was talking to Roy from Speed QB, right? Because he's texting me. We're talking back and forth. I'm like, so, question. He's like, yeah. I'm like, so I know you guys only send out that gold patch with like really high end shit. He's like, yeah. I'm like, do I have to send that back to you? He's like, no, man, you can keep on. Cool. I wasn't sending it back anyways. So I now have a golden patch right here from Speed QB. That's a constant reminder of like, know your sizes. But I now stick with 5'11". 5'11's the shit.
Nice.
And I sent you that one video. You can go ahead and show it. But I sent you the before and after of what the clear coat, to answer your question. Gotcha. I can't remember exactly which video is, or I don't know how I sent it exactly. But I know I sent both of them to you. You can show it if you want to. Yeah. And the beautiful part about it is you're going to go ahead and see one where I'm on my desk. And you'll see it. It's going to be, the top one. That's before clear coat. And it is a fucking gorgeous color. It is such it is such a beautiful color. It is absolutely ridiculous. And now if you go over to the next one, right, it's the disco ball.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Whoo.
Yep.
That is so cool, man. How that, I just, it amazes me because I'm not into, I don't know anything about these paints and clear coats and all the different stuff, magic you can work with. Paints, man. It's fucking wild.
Oh yeah, and then now that company that I go ahead and I get my paints through, they actually released a whole entire line of new paints, and when I saw them, I'm like, fuck, they're $15 each, and I only get X amount of it. You know what? I'm like, I convinced myself, and I told myself, at one point in time, I'm gonna need. Ooh, I can totally send you this picture too. I'm like, at one point in time, I'm gonna need it. Fuck it, why not? So I bought them, and they're called Kaleidoshift. And these colors, they have those holographic pearls inside of it, right?
Yeah.
But then at the same exact time, they'll go ahead and they have that crystals. and they have a chameleon shift to it also. So here, let me go ahead and
Oh
send you these
shit!
couple videos real quick. Yeah, this stuff all
They're
perfectly
starting to
fine.
do some wild stuff with paints, man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
So that mask I
crazy.
sent you, that's the one of one mask I gave away for my 5K.
Wow. This is the one with the
Mm-hmm.
you were talking about where you cutting out all the hexagons.
Quarter by quarter inch hexagons. Yeah,
God bless
I feel so bad for my mother-in-law, but she did it.
it. Holy shit, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those masks where the guy took it out to the field, showed it off, put it back in his car.
Yep.
And I think on the other picture, I think it might show it. Yeah, so right there, top left, you can't see it too much because of the sun, but that's Ghost's signature.
Yep. Oh shit, that's
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's the ghost.
Oh,
That's the
that's
ghost signature.
cool.
The guy even popped the lens out and just has it sitting in his house, just as like a memorabilia.
Yep. Yeah, for real now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to
Damn,
go ahead and
that's
do
cool.
something for my people, my Golden Pass people. I'm like, you know what? You guys fucking believe in me. How can I make these things even more over the top? So they all got like some of them got like mood ring shifting EPM one mags that hold a 250 round mags, and others
Yeah.
got different chameleon ones. Some people got two different like Odins that I went ahead and I did, and like one of the Odins was that crazy, super crazy one that you went ahead and you saw.
Yeah.
And then another one that Punk absolutely loved was I did call it a demonic sexy nun.
Oh
And
shit.
oh, he's in love with the crazy like wow. Oh look, cool. I do have it. Sweet. I'm so happy. Let me go ahead and send you these pictures. But
That's
I did
fucking
this
awesome.
nun, right? And he fell absolutely in love with this. Yeah, and then that's the Kaleido shift colors right there. I think a couple of them popped in there. And yep, that's the Slaughter Odin. That's the Slaughter logo that he gave me and he let me use.
Damn.
Yeah, and I did a red multicam on it.
That looks fucking sweet, bro.
Oh, wait for the girl.
Is this the kaleidoscope thing you're talking about?
Yeah, that's a Kaleido shift. So it shifts, and then you
Kaleidoscope.
see at an angle right there, you see the little holographic pearls in there. So it goes from
How
like
does it
that,
look?
like
How in the hell do they do this where, or how do you do this where it looks purple? Like,
oh, it's just
what?
angles of the sun,
Oh my
angles of the
god.
light
And it
that you're
looks
in.
fucking green
Yeah,
and gold and
yeah.
it's amazing, dude.
Oh, you should see some of the
That's
colors I have in now that I haven't even showcased. The UV colors that I have that I haven't even thrown out yet. Yeah, and then that's
that's
the demonic
sick,
nun.
dude.
Yeah,
That is sick. Oh
and
my god.
he's all about his whole entire crazy nunness and everything like that. So I wanted to show out and do something absolutely phenomenal for him, just allowing me the privilege of going ahead and putting his brand and his things on, and trusting me with it. I'm like, you know what? The least I
Right.
can go ahead and do for this man is when I show out with these damn things, I want to make sure I just put a crazy stamp on it to where it's like people are like, oh my god, this is like the top of the top for you. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I keep on. I still want to keep on growing. I still want to keep on improving. I have so many ideas in my head. Like I want to do a Maverick mask, right? Like a
Oh
Maverick,
shit.
like air ventilation system, like for fighter pilots, and then do like the Maverick
Oh
mask one
yeah.
on the sides.
Yeah, from
I want
Top
to do
Gun.
something like that.
Did you see that movie? Are you a
Oh
Top
fuck
Gun
yeah!
fan?
Oh dude, I have it on pre-order right now for me to get it.
Fuck yes.
Dude, every single time I hop on my Xbox and it's not done or it doesn't give me an update, I'm just looking at it like, fuck you. God damn it, come on, come out yet.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
my wife
I
and I
want to
went
do
to see
that.
that as
Yeah.
soon as we could. Yeah, it was of course,
It's a,
Top
oh,
Gun classic.
dude,
Dude, the
it's
guy they
so
got to
good.
play some spoiler alerts here, just, shut your ears
If
for a
you live in
second.
a cave, yeah.
The guy they got to play Goose's son,
Yeah,
damn, he looks just like him. Holy
dude,
shit.
he nailed it.
I mean, for real.
Yeah, it was an incredible movie. I loved it a lot. I actually want to go back and watch it a secondary time.
Yeah.
I didn't. We didn't. We held, and I'm like, oh, cool. I can go ahead and buy it on my Xbox. So I have it currently on my pre-order, but I want to
Nice.
do something like that. For a mask, so that's another one of one custom. I've gotten some new stencil files in that are going to be out of this world to elevate me even further than where I'm at, and I already have ideas to what
Right.
to do with them. I want to do a bunch of different things. I want to do the shoes. I want to do different guns to match the shoes, to match the mask, things like that. I want to do one of one customs that I'll offer on my website that I can go ahead and charge whatever I want to, whether it's like, I'm thinking I can top myself off at $400 because I don't want to go ahead and charge 450 or something like that. Like the fact of the matter is, I know my mask can sell for 450 because
Right.
I did 3 one of ones for SS and they sold them all at 450, and I couldn't believe it. That was the first time I ever put out glow in the dark anything, which was the crazy part for me.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, some of these teeth, man, some of the stuff, the designs, the thermals. I want to dip into the milsim game a lot. So my E4 is going to have a very crazy, beautiful paint job that I already know what I'm doing in my head. Now it's time to just lay it down and do something just unbelievable for it, because KWA will be there at EA, and I want to show them their gun.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, so it'll be a nice little marketing thing, and then I have a couple things coming over here from Extreme Airsoft themselves. They're like, "Hey, would you want to help us with our giveaway?" I'm like, you know what? If it counts for me giving away in the giveaway, I'm down because I won't charge you guys
Yeah.
for it. They're like, "Okay, cool." So I'm painting a couple of different items for them that are going to be really cool themed, super awesome. I might do a distress look on it. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I plan on doing just absolutely phenomenal work for them. So that way, whoever wins it gets just an absolutely beautiful piece.
That is awesome, dude. Well, man, I'm blown away.
Thank you.
I'm super glad that you and I got to meet and talk. And
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's been great. Yeah, I had no clue the amount of stuff you're into and how you got to where you're at now. Like meeting all these
Yeah.
people and putting yourself out there. And I mean, obviously you're enjoying what you're doing because
Oh
you can
yeah.
tell. It's in your work.
Yeah.
It shows in your work that you love this kind of stuff. So
Yeah, it's been a huge blessing, and I mean the fact that I get to go ahead and live up and say, "Ha, I told you so" to my wife when I told her I was going to be successful at this, and to have the team, the support, and just even the community that I have, like
yeah,
all the get well soons and all the good luck with your surgeries I got on my day when I had put it up, on the 14th. I'm like, hey, just a heads up, I'm probably gonna be MIA for at least a week or so. Um, I'm getting ready to have knee surgery, this and that, yada yada. It's gonna go ahead and go good. Doc says it shouldn't take long at all. In there for a couple of hours, and I had to go ahead and cut me open, cut out a bunch of dead cartilage, and sew holes into my kneecap and reattach ligaments and all this other shit.
damn,
And learning how to walk again sucked. But the fact of the matter that when I woke up and I'm looking at my Instagram, I'm looking at my stuff, and I saw probably over 250 messages on there of people saying like, good luck, this and that.
right,
Hey, I know you're doing my stuff right now. Please don't worry about it. Put it on the back burner. Get ready. Your health is first and everything. We want to go ahead and see you because the community can't lose you. And just seeing that impact and seeing that side of the community just absolutely took me back, because the fact that I was able to build a community like that, to build a support group like that, and to show that, even though the media might go ahead and try to portray airsoft as one thing because they only highlight some bad stuff, or, a lot of the videos that get a lot of the attraction and attention are the ones that people mag dumping each other, and people are like, oh, okay, it's just,
yeah,
a
right,
bunch of immature kids or something like that out there. But then for me to be blessed with the community that I've been able to go ahead and grow, and people love my artwork and things that I'm doing to inspire them, and to, like, people like, hey, I tried painting a mask or a gun like you. And I'm like, and I even, there's a guy who went ahead and sent me a picture of his gun that he tried to paint. And I'm like, you need stencils, my friend. He's like, yeah, no, I just now. I'm like, look, what's your address? I'll print out some stencils and send them out to you. You don't have to do. I'm like, no, it's the least I can go ahead and do. Let me go ahead and do that for you. I've bought people
that's cool,
behind the
dude.
scenes. I've bought people Odins. I've bought people, guns. The part broke on their thing and they can't go out and play. What do you need? Okay, cool. I got you. Look, I know it's better than, your old motor that burns out here.
Yeah,
Or, hey, let me go ahead and connect you with my other person. He's a great gun tech. He's not going to rip you off, this and that. And I don't make videos or anything like that about that to show who's the person getting something or a free item or an
Right.
Odin because, you know, they're using like the nasty ass, like when you first start hand pump Odin on with your thumb and the thumb portion broken. So they're stabbing themselves in the thumb. I'm like, dude, fuck that. They're like, oh, like this and that. And everybody always asks me for shit. And I don't like people who ask me for stuff and ask for
Yeah.
handouts. That's not the way to go about it. I'm about genuine connections with people.
Right.
And so if I'm able to have a genuine connection and they're admiring my work, they're showing me love, I'm showing them love back, and they're like, yeah, I can't wait to go back out. Like I just have to go and buy, you know, a speed loader, and it's a good, genuine conversation. And I remember this kid,
Right.
his
That's
parents
different.
just went through a really hard time, and I'm like, and he's like this and that, yada yada, and God, I'm trying not to cry, because his parents went through a divorce,
Yeah.
and I felt so bad for the kid because, you know, we're sending voice messages back and you can hear his voice cracking and everything like
Right.
that. I'm like, dude, I'm like, what's your address? I'm like, don't worry, I'll go ahead and buy you one. He's like, even if it's just like a cheap one and everything. I'm like, don't worry, I got you. I gave him a full on crazy ass speed loader, painted it to the T and everything like
Nice.
that. I'm like, just say you bought it from me.
Right.
I'm like, and say an amounts because I don't want people to go ahead and think that I'm doing this all the time. I don't want
Right.
people to go ahead and be asking for handouts.
Oh,
I'm
dude,
doing
we had
this.
so many people asking that
Yeah.
we started a separate
God.
channel on our Discord
Yeah.
just for what it was give me free shit or something like that we called it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I felt so bad for the kid, but I was just like, you
Yeah.
know what? This is the least I can do. To see this kid crying and like he's like sending me a video of an unboxing video. I'm like, I just want to see an unboxing video, and he is crying, and he had his phone like propped up on a goddamn
Right.
pillow, and I'm just like, I was getting emotional watching it. I'm just watching this kid cry, and I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like, it is just the connection there. Haven't talked to the kid in a while, or even another one. I actually have the background for the outside of my phone. He made me a screen, like a poster screen,
Yeah.
to save, and he was taken back, and he just wanted to hear my fire stories. He wanted to hear what I've experienced out there in wildland firefighting, and I'm like, let me put it this way: I should be a dickhead completely, and some of the crazy shit, some of the things I've seen, some of the shit that I've seen when I was 18, 19 years old, the carnage, some of the shit that you have to go ahead and hike through, you see when you're out there, it's not for everybody. You're getting paid shit.
Was
And
that in,
I
was
was
that in
watching,
Oregon?
yeah, it was in Oregon. I was on a fire team. There was a contract company called Diamond Fire. I was on them for 3, 4 seasons, and I wanted to go and be a hotshot, which is like the crazy like Army Ranger Special Force type people in the fire community. Like they're the heavy hitters. They're the ones first in. We know we're gonna die.
Yeah.
We don't give a shit. We're here to go ahead and make it happen. Let's make shit work. I want to be one of those. I've had multiple near death experiences, so I cherish every fucking day that I live, and I get to customize. And I've
What got you
seen.
into the firefighting thing?
Oh man, so I wish I could go ahead and be like, I saw a crazy movie, and no, it's not like that.
Yeah.
I got fired from Subway.
Yeah.
Um, I got fired from Subway. I was working the night shift, and I got fired, went into a depression. I loved working at Subway. I loved my potheads that would come in at 2 a.m. But my number one speech to them was, imagine, wait for it, bro. What? You go to that Walmart down the street and you go buy some peanut butter and jelly. I'll make you a fucking peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yeah, I kid you not. Half hour they came back with fucking peanut butter and jelly,
Oh
and I'm like,
shit.
oh, dude, I'm over here doing it, dude. They're so excited, and I ended up getting terminated because one of these girls just didn't like me because the manager liked me, and all this bullshit, and got fired. My mom's coworker's son did wildland firefighting for Diamond Fire.
Gotcha.
He's like, well, does he work hard? And my mom's like, yeah. And that was my second job. I worked for Walmart before that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. And I unloaded the trucks for Walmart, and I had 2 national and 1 international record for unloading trucks by myself.
Damn.
And oh yeah, dude, I was a fucking beast back then. I unloaded 5,000 pieces or 5,000 items in an hour and a half by myself.
Woo,
That
shit.
was the international one, and even 2 people couldn't even break that. And we had 20 something people on our line putting things in the pallets to organize it. And I had that bitch backed up at all times. So I'd run out there and help them empty it. And I'd run back in there and throw more shit. And I held 2 records, and it took 5 years for them to go and make a 3-man team to finally break it.
Damn.
And when I went out to firefighting, I was very fucking competitive, and they tried scaring me away from it. They're like, "How do you think about sleeping in tents?" Like they did an interview, like, "How do you think about being out in the wilderness and sleeping in tent, inhaling smoke, and possibly dying?" And this, I'm like, "Fuck it, you got to go ahead and live hard, live young, right?" I'm like, "Fuck it, why not?" And my first fire out the gate, it was the fucking wildest thing, and I have scars on my body from it. Where when we were going out there, it was called God damn it, I can't think of it. I know that I know I can fucking think of the kind of name, but it was Fossil Creek Fire. There we go, back in Oregon. And we went out to this place, and there's this thing called fossil eggs, or we call them like thunder eggs, right? And technically, they're just the stones when lightning hits stone and creates the crystals, and looks fucking beautiful.
Huh.
We are on a mountaintop filled of them, to where people, when you find them out there, it's illegal for you to go ahead and take them, but people stack their backpacks, and they're really rare and hard to find. This place had so many of them, you could be picky. Hey, I'll trade you this purple for the blue. Yeah, okay, cool. And me being a fucking pack mule, I would go ahead and pack shit up and down like crazy. So people would load me up with rocks, and I'd go and be like, "Okay, cool, you're paying for this and this, or I get to cut you in shower." All right, sweet. Okay. And so I'd go ahead and like, hey, like they'd be almost at shower. The line's like 50 people long, and I'll walk up to them, like, "Go to the back of the line. I carried your fucking rocks." And I get to step in. I'm like, "Yeah, oh, dude, it's so cool." I kid you not. When it was one of our last days there, what ended up happening was lightning started coming down. Like we knew that lightning was going to happen. They gave us our forecast in the morning. And my team, there's 2 different thunderstorms going to roll through. You hear over the radio, because I'm right next to my squad boss, and he's like, "Yeah, so go ahead and start evacing all teams. We go ahead and we see the storm's coming in quicker, and it's coming right at us and everything. Leave Diamond Fire up on the hill. They can go ahead and raise back." We're like, "What?" Like, and I'm looking at him like, "Did I fucking hear that right?" They're like, "Yeah, like thunder's coming out of us." They're like, "Yeah, like we got ponchos and everything." I'm like, "We have fucking trash bags. We have we don't have ponchos. We have trash
That's
bags."
a poncho, okay?
Oh yeah, yeah. So all you see, okay, is the fucking. We're so high on this mountain. We're at the fucking peak of it. You see the fucking cars off in the distance. We had all of our drivers sprint back to the trucks, and you see off in the distance this fucking nasty black gray cloud right at us. And you start seeing like thunder. You hear thunder. Like you don't hear it, you fucking feel it.
Damn.
And it is fucking shaking. You're like, "What the?" We start sprinting downhill because you start seeing lightning coming down where we're fucking standing.
Woo!
And I am fucking freaking out. I am 18 years old, gonna fucking die from lightning.
Yeah.
And we are running down, and I kid you not, the worst part about the contract team is you kind of get the scrounge of people. So I'm dealing with meth heads and all sorts of fucking druggies, old druggies, new druggies, people coming off of shit, people on shit, and they can't cut them because they need the bodies.
Oh my God.
So I am dealing with that. So I am an exposed fucking person out in fire. I'm 18. I don't know about any of this shit. I don't know about rugged people. And I mean, for fuck's sake, David Goggins, if you were to watch the Joe Rogan podcast, what he's doing right now at his age is he's becoming a wildland firefighter.
Oh shit.
And the reason why is because he's like, dude, he's like, I'm not doing it for the money because they get paid shit. He's like, those motherfuckers out there, he's like, I've done some crazy fucking shit in my life. Those motherfuckers, they don't fuck around. The shit that they put their body through, the miles that they have to go ahead and hike, you don't get no fucking days off. You work 14 days straight, sometimes 28 days straight, 72 hours straight. They don't give a fuck. And you're out there just working like a dog, and people don't give a shit. They'll fucking cut you. They'll break you out there. They'll try to break you. He's like, I want, David fucking Goggins.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, dude, he's like, some of the shit that you do,
Yeah, I
and,
read his book. You Can't Hurt Me.
Dude.
Yeah, I follow him.
He's over here. He's like some of the most rugged fucking shit. And I'm not trying to quote him verbatim. He's over here saying that if you experience fire, you see some of the shit that firefighters deal with, and digging line, because he even talked about digging line. I'm like, dude, I remember those days. You're digging line right there next to the fire's fucking edge for miles and miles at a time. I remember we dug 6 miles of line once, and we're talking 3 feet fucking wide down to bare minimum soil. And the whole time I'm leading it. Every single fire line, I led every single one of my career.
Yeah.
And with the whole entire lightning thing, we had to run down. And I remember Ronnie, he was one of my really good buddies, 55-year-old little mountain goat, we called him. 55 years old, hiking with a fucking chainsaw on his shoulder.
Woo.
And and he's a short little fucking, he's like 5'5", 5'6". And he is sprinting down with this chainsaw, and I'm right next to him. I'm freaking out. And we're over here, we're throwing our backpack or our tools to the side, we're separating from ourselves. I'm putting my bag and I poke my hole out, and I'm just like this with my fucking little hole. And I'm like, and I like breathe and everything. And Ronnie's right across from me, like, you know what? Fuck this light. I'm gonna take my own life. He lights up a cigarette in his bag and he starts hotboxing himself. and he's right there in front of me about trying to kill himself with the cigarette. And I'm looking off to the side. There's this dude named Leon. Rest in peace, Leon. He went ahead and he's over here being the tweaker that he fucking is, with 2 shovels out. And on the ends of the shovels, he has what we call Delmars, which hold our fuel for our chainsaws. And he's holding it. He had like latched it in just perfectly in there. And he's holding it out there into the fucking sky. I said, "Brandon, back there!" And I'm like, I'm gonna fucking die here with a tweaker trying to fucking barbecue himself and another one hotboxing himself. This is my life, okay? And
holy shit!
And the lightning passed, and we knew we had 20 minutes to get back up this bitch to go ahead and get out and evac to our trucks that are on the top, and we're communicating on radios. And they're like, "Okay, cool, we gotta go." And it passed, and it was like just like the pardoning of the seas, but fucking clouds. And you see us all trying to sprint up this hill, but it's like every 3 steps you took, you're sliding back 1 because it's just loose gravel. And so all of us are sprinting up there. I'm trying to use my Pulaski and anchor myself and yank myself up. And I look back, and Ronnie's barely making it up this thing and not giving up his chainsaw, because the biggest thing you can go ahead and do is to not give up your chainsaw. And so I'm fucking cussing at him, yelling at him to give me his chainsaw, and he doesn't want to. So I end up fucking yanking it. I'm cussing him out. He's grabbing my tool and everything. And I'm using a shovel, and I'm holding his chainsaw, and we're fucking hiking up this thing, and he's grabbing onto the back of my backpack.
Yeah.
And I'm dragging his shit up there. And as we start fucking getting right next to the car, lightning starts striking down around us, and we're freaking the fuck out to where we end up getting hit by it. Yeah, and it was the most fuck shit, because we're soaked with water and sweat, and I kid you not, it felt like someone hit you in the chest. You can't fucking see well, and then like your vision's slowly coming back, you can't hear well, and all of the sweat completely dry off my body.
Damn.
And we're like crawling back to the trucks, but they're not letting anyone come out of the trucks because the storm's right there. They pull the truck up next to us, grab both of us, yank us in, and we evac off the fucking mountain. And I'm just like,
Jesus.
I'm like, okay, cool. First near-death experience. Fuck it. And it hooked me. And I'm like, I like this shit. Yeah. And then it was just one of those things where ever since then, it was just one incident after another. Like, I had to go ahead and like have my buddy evac out of there. And this dude, I had to hike him out, and he was like 6'5", 240 fucking pounds.
Damn.
Massive fucking beast. And we were on a recon squad trying to look for spot fires and spot him out. Body shut down. So other people had to literally hike his fucking body out of a helivac spot about 2 miles.
Yeah.
It was the most annoying thing. Like, and just some of the shit and the hardships. Like, I even did a 72-hour shift. And it was just 72 hours straight. You sleep 2 hours, you're back at it, because a fire had started, and we stopped it at, I think they said 3 or 4 acres, and it had the possibility of going 68,000 because a light pole had fallen.
Damn.
Oh, and then it doesn't help. The helicopters are above, and they're fucking blowing wind. The fire's acting up.
Yeah,
there's dozers around us.
Quit blowing on the fire, dude. Jesus.
Oh, and I'm like, dude, this fucking sucks. And I'm just like, oh, this is the career path I chose. Fuck it, you know. And I think the biggest one that we got to go ahead and do was, God, I can't fucking remember the goddamn. I think it's called the King Fire, or I know I have the T-shirt in my closet. I don't wear them. They're just kind of like my memorabilia that I keep.
Yeah.
And there was this fucking fire where these stupid fucking hikers, goddamn idiots, no fire zone, no campfires. There's a fire regulation in, These hikers
Jesus.
decided to sleep overnight and have a fire. Got out of control, and we were dealing with the Santa Ana winds out there in
Oh my
California.
God.
It's shifting all sorts of ways.
Right.
The day before we got called out to a different fire that was started from a spot fire, we had to go ahead and keep on sending people. We had this little book called our dyad, and on the back you have your little tiny fucking rules like, hey, don't, if you see this, don't go under. There's a hazard. If you do this, you can't see visibility for fire. You don't have air support. You don't have this. You don't have that. Don't go in. Don't go in. Don't go in. Every single check mark. I think there's like 12 or 15 rules, and every single one going down this bitch was marked off. Like every single one you're not supposed to do, it was it. And we're like,
Oh my God.
this is fucked. And we're the only first responding teams out there. And we're at that point of my last season, and we're now promoted to an initial attack crew because we won the initial attack contract. So we're the first ones in. And I remember that a lot of the teams that were primarily initial attack, like actual heavy hitters, like 2A heavy hitters, they're all called off on so many different fires all over the place that we're the first responders. And we're like, well, this is fucked. And we're going in with 2 diamond crews, 20 men deep on each one. And I remember the first crew went up, and we're sitting there eagerly on the side of the road. All roads closed off, no helicopter support, but you hear helicopters above because the smoke's so seated in. It started to kind of break and everything like that, and the smoke broke the barrier, the barrier for the, God, I can't fucking think of my goddamn fire like lingo. But it broke the barrier, and it actually went up deep into the sky so we can get visibility. We started getting helicopters in and everything. They asked for another squad to go ahead and go up there. So I was on that squad, and there's 5 of us. So we're trying to dig the line to go ahead and wrap into it. What ends up happening, Santa Ana winds, shifts like crazy.
Oh my
And
God.
it was, I'll send you a video from my personal Instagram where this shit, I wonder if I can send it to myself and then send it to you through here. So what ends up happening is Santa Ana winds fucking kick off, and it overblows, and you see one of the guys, his name was Billy, and he had the fucking worst knees you will ever see in your life, like the worst knees. I can't make this up. And what ends up happening is he's sprinting towards us, yelling at us to go ahead and get down the fucking hill. And we're like, what? Like, dude, like, nah, like, and he's yelling at us, get the fuck down the hill. So we're sprinting. So we start all sprinting down.
Yeah.
And the Santa Ana winds, he predicted it because he's been doing this shit for so long. He saw this shit happening, and we all went sprinting down the hill, and we barely got out of there. And you just see our whole position where we were at. Here, I'll send you the videos right now. Send this, and I'll send you the first one. I'm always about my selfies out there too, which was really funny. They would know now I'm not, but out there, oh yeah. I don't know if it's sent or not.
I got it.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me
You can go ahead and show it.
All right.
Yeah, so that was the fire that blew up. We were deep inside of there, and we all came sprinting down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's that fire. That's when it plumes, and it just started burning like crazy. And we're like, well, there goes that. And it went from a little tiny fire to that gigantic cloud.
Damn. That's
Oh,
huge.
yeah. Oh, dude, it was wild. And then the other picture, I'm like, oh, selfie time. So I had my buddy take a selfie of me right next to it, and I'd send it over to my mom. Like, I almost died again.
Oh shit.
Just,
Dude, that's a badass
Yeah.
picture though. Look at that.
oh, yeah. Oh, dude, anytime I would go ahead and be able to get pictures or anything like that, like everybody be like, hey, Herm, let us know when you see a good spot for a picture. And then people would hate me, but they loved that I did it. They loved the
Yeah,
fact
no
that I'd go ahead and be
shit.
hunting down pictures and things like that. I'd be looking out for different things like so with that fire, this is the coolest fucking thing. I've never in my fucking life rode in a helicopter, right? Very first time I ever got to ride out in a helicopter was out there in fire.
Nice.
And oh no. Where we had to go into, it was kind of like a, hey, you guys are going into this, you're probably gonna die. Are you guys okay with that? Or we can find another team.
Jesus.
And it was that spot fire I was telling you about. Those stupid ass hikers.
Yep.
They went ahead, dumbasses, caused a fire. We went in there, and what ended up happening was, as we went in, we're flying in on helicopters, and it doesn't help that one of the dudes was on a helicopter crash. That was one of the worst ones that happened in firefighter history, where
Damn.
most of his team that he didn't go out with all got killed.
Oh shit.
And so he of course he's in my fucking helicopter, and he's freaking out saying, "I hope we don't die." It's not like,
Oh
what the
God.
fuck do you mean we don't die? And he's sitting
Yeah.
right next to me, telling me like, "This is what can go wrong," and blah 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 blah. I'm like, "Don't why what?"
Oh
And I'm
shit.
getting pissed. I'm like, "I'm gonna whoop your fucking ass." I was pissed. And so there you go. And so these are the pictures of the helicopters. This is when we were evacing out.
Yeah.
Us and two other teams were able to corral the fire in when we were out there, and that was Cal Fire. We were able to go ahead and corral this fire in, I think, at 110 acres.
Mm.
I think is what they said. Like they dropped us all off on different points, and they said, "Hey, you guys got to dig to here, dig to here, dig to here." The most beautiful part, though, about that, and it was so fucked, is that if you were to look off to the side, you see all sea, the most gorgeous view in the whole world, and we're landing there with helicopters.
That's wild.
It is the most wildest shit, and they're telling us, "Okay, cool, this is what you do in a helicopter." Oh, this is. I'm like, what happens if you do that on a helicopter? Oh, you're gonna go ahead and get your fucking hand cut off. I'm like, what the dude? And I'm a young fucking cat doing this shit,
Yeah.
and I'm like looking at all this stuff, and I'm
You
like,
fucking
dude,
loved it.
oh my dude, I was addicted, bro. I was, and then this thing, I got this actually made it onto a national page for like people who go ahead and want to just show love and support to beautiful pictures taken on fire.
Oh
I took
shit.
that picture with my phone,
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
that's a bomber dropping retardant to try to slow down fire closing in on our position.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just painting that shit. And I mean, I even have scars on my back because that shit, if it gets on your clothes, you're pretty much getting as naked quick around your people. You don't give a shit
Yeah.
because it'll go ahead before it dries. It's like almost like acid. The chemicals in it will burn your skin.
Wow.
So I have spots all over my back because we got chemical burn from it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude.
Oh yeah. I've had a crazy life, and they're like, oh yeah, like some people are still doing it. Luckily, I got out, and I mean, I made more money doing installs for glass, but I mean, it's just so wild to go ahead and see some of
Yeah.
the fire shit that I got to
Well,
go ahead and do, and like I think back to it.
never a dull moment.
Oh God, oh, no, no. I mean,
I mean, for real.
you'd have some stupid stuff like you'd have to go ahead and go graze the black and go look for spot fires, even though you went over it 18 different damn times and all
Right.
this other shit, and it's so boring to you. But it's just one of those where you just fall absolutely in love with it. And at the end of the day, it's not like you're over here doing it for the love of it. Like I was making $2,200 take home after 14 weeks straight of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, no days off. There's no, hey, I'm gonna take Saturday, Sunday off. There's no days off. There are 14 days of work. You're waking up at 4 in the morning, and
Damn.
you're at chow at 5. You're getting briefed, and then your people are taking off to go ahead and go to briefing about 5:15, 5:30, and then you're on the road at 6, and then you're working until
Jesus.
5, 6. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Those dudes, man. Fuck, my hat's off to them. Like, it makes me miss it, but at the same exact time, it's one of those things where I'm happy things happened the way it did, and I got out the way I have.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, this brought you into what you're into now.
Yep.
You wouldn't have probably, if you were still doing that, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing, and
Yeah.
you know.
Yep. And that's just like the craziest part. Like I go ahead and I look at some of the stuff I've been able to go ahead and do and things like that. But is there a way to change the camera back to you, or do you not have it?
What do you mean?
I don't see you because it says the stream has ended cricket noises.
If you tap on your screen, you should have a grid button or a focus, maybe. So what I do is, let me show you real quick, actually. Oh no, I can't show you on there. Yeah, I can't remember how to do it on the phone. You should be able to grid the view, and then you can choose what screen is
I
bigger.
don't know. I'm totally shot. This is not working.
Is it?
Yeah, that's why when you go ahead and you cut off your screen, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, if you turn, can you close out that screen that says the stream or whatever?
Oh, this one. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. There
Look
we go.
at you learning already.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. I'm going to be giving tutorials on Instagram here soon enough.
Well, listen, bro. This is man. I've really enjoyed talking with you. It's been great.
Yeah, man.
We will definitely need to do it again because
Absolutely.
I want to talk with you about doing something for TriFecta that would be fucking cool, man. We would be honored. We'd be honored for real. That'd be cool as shit.
Yeah.
So and
Absolutely.
no hurry, no timeline. Well, I'll message you and we get something rolling, man. It'd be cool as shit because we do a giveaway just about every month since we started our channel. So and I do my own little custom paint jobs. You know what I do? I paint the I don't know if you've seen. Okay, look at my custom shit. All right.
That is hey, you know what? I love it.
Hey, so I take the regular stock. Now this one I usually do a white background, but this one I did olive drab because it's a sniper. So I paint this side of the stock green. Let it dry, whatever, and then I have one of those transfer stickers. And put that on, then paint it black again, and then pull the stickers off. And then I clear coat it with flat clear coat, and so it won't scratch off or whatever. Well, easily anyway. That's the extent of my shit right there. Anything beyond that,
hey, it's good. Hey, you knew more about how to go ahead and prime and do clear coats and everything. When I first started out, man, it's been a huge, crazy learning experience, and it's been a huge blessing. Like the fact that you want to go ahead and have me on and hear my story, where this has kind of grown and started from, to have the community back me the way they have, to see all the positive feedback, to impact so many people and give them their stuff. It's unbelievable.
It's out there everywhere, bro. Like when I talked to Spooky, the first time, and then I started following her and her and Nick, and she was talking about having a mask done by you. I was like, oh, I can't wait to see it. And she did it, and then she got the patches made, and dude, it's so the podcast I did with her last night actually, that'll come out Monday. So man, she is so excited about her mask, and everyone I've talked with, man, has nothing but good things to say about you and your work, and now I know why. Because you're a fucking badass with this stuff, man. Like
thank you, man.
It's not just talent. You are you're putting in the work. You're putting in the work, and you truly care about the community, airsoft, the people, and you care about doing a good job, man. And it shows. It really shows. I appreciate you, dude.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. It's been a huge blessing, and I mean, I can't go ahead and say thank you enough to. I mean, the biggest one is just going to go ahead and be like Isaac and Midwest. They were those stepping stones. That was like my foundation. They're the ones that introduced me to the concrete. And without them, I don't think this would have gone the way it has. I mean, even the hop up. I mean, I should go ahead and be giving it up to Colby from hop up, because Colby from hop up went ahead and gave me the platform to meet Isaac. Isaac went ahead and started harassing Swavey, started harassing this and that, getting more and more. He was networking for me. He wasn't even working for me. He was my very first sponsored player. And he even told me, like, look, if you have to drop me as a sponsor, this and that, like, I get it. I'm not active anymore. I got life stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm like, you will always have a special place here. I don't care if you don't do shit. I'm no matter what going to have you there in my highlights, because without you, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
See, that's
without
special,
Midwest,
man. You remember?
Yeah, and I even tell that. Oh yeah, Midwest, man, Tristan, we'll go ahead and have phone calls and talks, and the fact that he went ahead and would listen to me bitch and complain and be like, Hear me out. I need a sexy anime chick.
Yeah.
Okay, can you go ahead and print me out one? He's like, and I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry, man. My bad, my bad. And it's for him to go ahead and be willing to work with me and create these amazing pieces of art. And then like Little Miss, she was like one of like the main bigger like influencer types when it
Yeah.
goes in and comes to actively playing airsoft.
She
And
loves that word, by the way. You need to call her that more. She's
influencer, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, she hates me.
She hates
She
you.
hates me. And I absolutely love the fact that with her, she introduced me to Patches Fahad, and now me and Fahad are very close, and we work together. And it's been one of those things where I keep my roots very close, and I check up on my people and everything like that,
Right.
just because without them pushing me to the way I'm at, and I'm just like looking at this stuff, and my mother-in-law would always go ahead and like pester me and like tell me like you need to go ahead and just make this a full-time thing so we can just go ahead and move back to Colorado. I'm like, watch, we will. We'll get there. We'll get there. And now, like looking at this and seeing where we've gone and where I'm going to, and just like how it's exploded, and I'm getting ready to bring people on with me. I'm just like, this has been crazy, and I want to say I've hit the top, but I'm
dude,
too competitive, and I'm just starting. I know what I want to do. I know where I want to get to. I know what I want to attract, and it's gonna be one of those things where I don't want to just only be known just for airsoft. I want to get into paintball. I want to get into shoes. I want to get into things, consoles and gaming, things like that. I want to do it to where anyone can hit me up and I can do something for them. That's the ultimate game.
I didn't want to, ask for too much, but I want eventually I want a I want a custom Xbox controller from you.
Okay.
I'll buy one from you. But
yeah.
I have I have the pro versions,
Yep.
with all that, special buttons and shit or whatever. But and then my son bought me the thin blue line version that Xbox came out with, and then I got the Gears of War version, the Halo one. We're big Gears of War and Halo fans, and then but to have one with maybe our TriFecta logo on it.
Absolutely.
And dude, that'd be fucking sweet, bro.
Oh,
so
dude,
anyway,
go ahead
what
and
you're
come up
talking
with
about,
things.
you can branch out into all kind of shit, like not just airsoft stuff, but with the amount of work you're doing and your talent, dude, you're gonna be. You got the momentum going right now.
Thank you, man.
Keep the pedal down. For real.
Absolutely,
awesome.
And it's gonna be awesome to go ahead and just to hop back on here again. And I really thank you for having me on and letting me talk, me rant, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, dude, it's been great. I love it. I love hearing it. You're an interesting guy. You got a good background, a broad background. Been in the shit, with this fire stuff. Like it's yeah, dude, it's cool, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, and you've got nothing but love for the community. And you're getting your wife involved in this stuff too, man. It's fucking cool, bro. You got family. It's a good thing, man. So
thank you, man.
Yeah. Well, I will definitely. So what I'm going to do for this one. Normally, what I've been doing, I didn't really, have a plan with these podcasts, but I started having enough to where I had. I would do them Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But this one, there's so many people. Just recently, like getting special shit from you, man, like that I'm seeing all over the place. I'm gonna release this like a special edition on this Saturday night. So we'll promote the shit out of it, you and me.
Yeah.
And I know Honey Badger will, and
he's already
texted me, bro. He's already texted me. He's like, "Are you doing a live with Rogue? Like, when are you doing it?" And I'm like,
yeah. Oh, just wait. I'll go ahead and I'll make sure I throw something up. Like the fact that I'll go ahead and because a lot of people want to know about the next golden patch drop because they just saw what just happened. I have so much momentum. The fact that I get to go and say, listen in there's an Easter egg and there's a reason why I planned it out and said it when I said it because I knew we were going to still talk afterwards. So it's not like someone can be like, I'm going to skip to the end. I didn't hear nothing. Maybe it's in the beginning 30 minutes. No, it isn't. Shit. So it's going to be one of those things where if people actually go ahead and listen, it pays off. They're going to be at, Rhode Island, and they'll go ahead and be able to know exactly what's going to happen, the prices, things like that, which would be really, really cool. So I'm just really excited, but they'll definitely have to go ahead and tune in, listen for that, and they'll have to know kind of when it's going to happen, the prices and everything like that, because if they don't, then I'm like, no, sorry, you don't watch it.
Shit.
You don't qualify.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, you have a good night, brother. I appreciate you, and we'll do it again soon. Everyone
Absolutely.
that watches and listens to this, you probably already know him more than most other people we've talked with, but go check him out. Rogue Customs
Thank you. Thank you.
in the house, showing off all his awesome shit. So I appreciate you,
Thank you,
bro.
man.
All right.
Awesome, bro. You have a
Later,
good one.
man. Have a good one.
Peace.